judo was my first love. Like, I give my heart and soul to judo. By the time I was 20, I'd had 7 surgeries. I would compete on a Sunday or Saturday, back in the gym, Sunday night, Monday morning. There was never a time for rest, and that was probably something that hindered me rather than, my own mental toughness put me out in many ways. Like, there's wrestling, a back step, you get shot clock. A back step and you look negative. You can't run from someone who's clubbing you and slipping inside your arms and, chasing legs the whole time. You have to go forward. It's very different. But even when I was doing judo, my old man would just go, should have been born in Japan or born in Russia. Like, people go, you go to Olympics. Do you understand? Do you understand what it takes?
Welcome to another episode of the Grappling Life podcast. Today I'm joined by 2 gorillas, man. Dr. Amir's back with us, and we've got Kane Charig, man, with us today. Kane,
what's up? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming,
I love your little setup. Long time coming. It's good to
appreciate
have
it.
Amir and yourself. It's good. I'm excited. Let's do it.
Have you done one before?
I've done a few podcasts,
Okay. Which
but
one?
it's always over Zoom and that. I can't remember the names.
Oh, the
But they're a
Zoom
bit-
ones.
yeah, never face to face. Which I think this is well better. It's like actually having a proper conversation. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's all about. Not like waiting for the delay and
Yeah.
waiting for all the Zoom to catch up, and you're like.
It's like a bad kung fu film. Your father comes from. I'm waiting for him. I will kill you.
especially when you try to get serious.
I'm saying
I will get revenge.
for those people that are listening, we've just had a podcast that hasn't been recorded.
Yeah.
Because Kane, we haven't seen each other for a while, and Kane, it's a celebration when Kane comes down. So
Can we introduce Kane? Let's introduce him properly.
Of course. What, are you hosting now? Sorry. Taking over the...
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Whose podcast is it?
It's fine. So I thought, Kane, what... I want to start with something, a question that I was thinking about often, yeah. Because when we met, you were already wrestling, yeah. But I want to know what inspired you to start martial arts.
It wasn't really my choice. From what I remember, I was 4 years old when I started.
Right.
So before I knew how to tie up my shoes, I was already on the mat. So I learned to do my belt up before I learned to do my shoes up. So it's that I started judo when I was 4. My parents took me to the local leisure centre, local judo club. We had mates, and it just started really.
Did your dad train as well? Is it-
Yeah,
your
well,
dad's
my
a black
dad kind
belt,
of
right?
started. Yeah, but my dad started when I started, so he he did judo as a kid, but not to any kind of level. He then grew up, was a mechanic and doing that sort of thing. But yeah, they just took me to the local judo club, and it's a good way for a young kid, especially like myself. I was buzzing as a child, like one of them annoying kids. Do you know what I mean? It just won't shut up. So you need to take him to the local classes, and I did a lot of different things as a kid, but judo was like what I was good at and what I enjoyed. We did other things. I did a little bit of motocross and some like diving and things like that, but that's just because I was a kid full of energy. And if I wasn't at judo, I was outside riding my bike and running and climbing trees and getting into trouble. And I think it's a really good thing for a kid to get into. Do you know what I mean? So
Where did you grow up?
in Poole, so Camford Heath. So it's near Bournemouth.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Cool. No, I've heard
So,
of Poole.
it's
only from the FA Cup draw, bro.
It's a hole. It's a
Serious.
hole.
Talk us about growing up in Poole. What's Poole like?
I grew up near the Heath, so I just grew up it's like a small cul-de-sac near like a big heathland, so it's brilliant for kids. Like,
What's a heath, bro? Sorry. It's like
it's
a
like
field, right? Or
no,
like
it's full of wild animals
like
and
woods. And
woods and
right.
just open land basically. But that was brilliant. We used to take our bikes up there, or we spend all day. It's weird because nowadays it's not like that. For me, it was like you're out at whenever you wake up in the morning and you don't come home till dinner. Yeah. Nowadays, the kids are they're playing the games. They're on the phones. It's weird because I never had a phone. Do you know what I mean? We never had any of that. It's probably the same.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Do you remember your first judo class?
I remember crying a lot. I remember getting battered a lot.
I'm just trying to think. 4 years old, like.
But it was full of us.
Yet?
No, yeah, I wasn't even at school. But
good dad's a G, you know that.
No, bless him. Like him and my mum. Yeah. Is what started everything really. Like without that,
Have you got siblings?
Yeah, I got a brother and 3 sisters.
I didn't know
so,
that. Yeah, how old is your brother?
I don't know.
Is he older?
Yeah, he's older than me.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
You don't know how old your brother is?
No. I don't know. He's 34, 35.
Okay.
You know,
right.
But we did judo as a kid. My brother used to beat the snot out of me, and you know he went one direction, I went another, and that's what it's like. Do you know what I mean? It's. I think that's really important in martial arts as well. That you get battered. It's weird to say, crazy to say. But when you want it and you're getting beat up by somebody, that pushes you on. Do you know what I mean? It's. I think you need that. I think that's really important.
Would you say that your dad pushed you to start? What did you really take over the steering wheel? So, for example, obviously you look at kids.
So there were a lot of good kids at the club.
Yeah.
They used to win medals. There was a couple of guys, like a guy who, when I was a kid, when I was probably like 10, 11, there was a guy called Lee Hardin, and he was a national champion at the time. And our club was pretty strong. It was quite a good club. And then when you see the guys coming in, bringing the medals in, and that was a big thing. You always, if you go to a tournament on the weekend and you win a medal, you bring it to the club. And essentially that medal belongs to your club. That's what it's all about. It's about sharing that and pushing. And then for me, I didn't win a medal in my first competition. It took me 2 or 3 competitions, and I think that spurred me on. Like winning the medals, and then I just built a collection. That was it. There was no turning back then. And you get better, start going to more tournaments, and then before you know it, it's like, oh, what? Got another tournament this weekend, or Dad's like, yeah, you're doing this tournament, and then you get that pit in your stomach, and that used to happen to me all the time. Dad will go, oh, we're doing Midlands next week, and you just go,
yeah,
drop your guts a little bit, and you get that adrenaline in your legs. So you know you have to go, but also you want the medal. You want, and plus, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like you're learning the skill. You're building yourself up. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you're accomplishing something.
Did your dad used to force you though to go, or was it like?
Yeah, well, yes and no. No, yeah, it's like yes and no. He go, come,
a lot of encouragement.
He go, yeah, like, or I tell you what it was. I tell you what got me the most. All right, don't go. Whatever, don't go. And then I feel like, oh, now I've upset him. Now I've upset him. But I knew it wasn't like, do it.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, whatever. You do whatever you want to do. Whatever. If you don't want to come training, don't come training. And then it was like, then you kind of feel like, oh, I need to go. But then that's so important, I think, as a kid, because then, you know, I would say something, I want to be this. Then he would hold me accountable for these things. And that's so important. That's so important. And it helps build you up as a kid, makes you resilient. And I didn't win all the tournaments as a kid. Do you know what I mean? You get beat up, and that's really good. And then he'd encourage me. So he was such a massive part of me, you know, building my way up. And he would take me everywhere. Anywhere I wanted to go, he'd take me. Do you know what I mean? We didn't have a lot of money. So it's not like I was a spoiled kid. Like he pushed me to go, and he'd encourage me to go, and you know, always encourage me and tell me that I'm good, and do you know what I mean? And that I can do it if I want. If I want to go and compete, you can go and compete. So
who would you say your biggest inspiration when it comes to martial arts was? Who were you looking up to when you were that age? Or who would you say was your biggest influence?
There was a lot of guys. So obviously when I was growing up, the guy to watch, Craig Fallon, who's passed away now, bless him. He was a huge inspiration for me. I wanted to be just like Craig. Do you know what I mean? And then when I'm by the time I'd gone full time, I'm rubbing shoulders with this guy. So that's the push. Do you know what I mean? That's so important. And I got to rub shoulders with so many good people. And I was lucky enough that before I went, so my dad used to take me to Bath, and that was a full-time centre and our centre of excellence in the southwest. He would take me to Bath, and then I'd meet the coach that would then take me on, Jürgen, who again recently just passed away.
Oh, no way.
Horrible, and he was a huge part of my life. And you get to rub shoulders with all these people. Do you know what I mean? So the big inspirations who pushed me, I wanted to be like the guys who are winning world championships, you know. And then the people that kind of take you on, Jürgen, the coach, was almost like, you know, this is the wing, you're under it type thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a big thing. And it's crazy. Yeah, but those are the kind of people that inspired me for sure.
How would you say judo? Because we're going to talk about the wrestling now, because judo was like your. I always wanted
Judo
to have
was
this
my
conversation
first
with
love.
you. Yeah, I always wanted to have this conversation.
Listen,
with
this
you.
is where it gets
When I
deep,
met
and I start
you-
crying.
Is
Like
it?
this, yeah. This is where, like, judo was my first love. Like, I give my heart and soul to judo. By the time I was 20, I'd had 7 surgeries.
Wow.
I give my heart and my soul to that sport. And it really, it like gets me out of my seat. Do you know what I mean? It now boils my blood, because I give everything to that, and I wanted it more than anything in the world. And if you said, listen, you'd be Olympic champion by the time you're 25, but you'd be dead by the time you're 30, I'd take it. 100%. I'd snatch your hand off for it. 100%. That was my life. I didn't give a flying F about anything other than that. And that is like that I knew that was a sign that, all right, I'm going to go full time. And yeah, so it was a huge thing. I'd done judo I went full time at 15. You know, like national champion, doing all these things, national team, you're getting told you can do really well and you're pushing, and then you realise that you have to live on your own. So I moved out. I moved in with some of the girls that train full time, where I trained. And it's difficult. Like
what does full time mean, bro? Like
full time is that I train 6 days a week,
So how
2
does
or
that
3
work?
times a day.
Money,
So,
how do you live? How do you? all
well,
this stuff?
I was on a thing called TAS. It's the Talented Athlete Scholarship Scheme. So luckily I got enough grades at school that I could go and do that. So I went and joined this thing called the ACE program, which is brilliant, really. It helps kids from school to go to college, to train full time, to accommodate both things that are vital in your life. I knew that I wanted to train full time, and I wanted to pursue and try and be a world champion. That was my one and only goal in life. Didn't give anything about my education, but it allowed me to do so.
So was that a judo specific thing?
Judo,
ACE.
yeah. So I did.
ACE
I
program,
can't remember the qualification. That's how much I paid attention.
But I'm
I
saying
went to
the
college.
ACE program is only
The ACE
for
program.
judo.
No, they did it in other sports.
Oh, okay.
So
But
they
you
did
chose
it. So
judo,
I went to
basically.
college with people who did volleyball,
Right.
badminton. So basically, anybody who was kind of like elite in their sport
But it has to be an Olympic sport.
has to be an Olympic sport.
Right, okay.
So you couldn't go and do it for anything's an Olympic sport these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bloody skateboarding or
Skateboarding.
something. Crazy. Golf. Like, give it up, yeah, for God's sake. Yeah, so that allowed me to train full time, and that was huge in my life. So I moved away. I was 15. Didn't know how to cook. You know, just
So where
about.
did you live?
I lived in Bath. There was some accommodation that we organised through where I was training. What Jürgen organised, and my dad basically funded my training. Well, I say training. We didn't have to pay for training because I was at college and doing that sort of thing. But he paid for my rent. I remember my rent was £200 a month, which is nothing.
Yeah.
But to me that was a
It's
lot.
a lot of money, bro.
Yeah,
It is,
15,
like,
16 was a lot of money.
Like, you know, that
Your dad was
that,
paying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my dad would give me £50 a week, and that would be bus, food, everything else, everything,
You've got to figure it
phone,
out.
everything else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, and then I suppose that's where the anxiety of money comes. I never had money. I had excuse my language, I had shit clothes, I had nothing, you know what I mean? And we would scrounge together all of our money at the end of the week. What have we got left, do you know what I mean? And you go and do something on the weekend, or, you know, my parents will come and pick me up and I'll go and see my family for the weekend or something like that. But you train 5-6 days a week, 2 or 3 times a day, and you incorporate your education. So I would go to college, kind of. My attendance was terrible. Again, I was a man on a mission, mate. I was a man.
Maths, English, that kind of stuff.
No. We did a BTEC. It's basically an apprenticeship in sporting excellence.
Right.
So push you towards a degree in Bath Uni for that sports science type thing. But I knew straight. I'm a blue collar guy type thing. I'd much rather be outside grafting than sat inside wiping someone's nose. Do you know what I mean? Or sat in a classroom or something. I can't do it. I'm just, it's not me. Like these things are good for certain people, and some people can do it. But again, just like when I was a kid, mate, you try and sit me down in a classroom, try and sit me in here, and I'm like this. Do you know what I mean? So I knew it wasn't for me, but it accommodated my training. It accommodated everything. And at that time, you know, my dad was paying my rent, but we get all of our money back for our bus fares and things like that. But then you'd have to pay for camps and training and all these other things. It was it's difficult. It's not, oh yeah, you're lucky you get to train full time. We had nothing.
So talk us through your training at that point. So what did a normal week look like for you?
A normal week, say if I went to college maybe 2 days a week, I'd go to college for the morning.
Yeah.
I'd go maybe 2 days a week. But say the average training would be like technique in the morning, or so lifting, technique, sparring, randori,
yeah.
Randori in the evening. And it's tough. Like, I was 15 years old, not even 16, and I'm training full time with everybody that's been there for like 10 years, or like the peak of their career.
So the guys in
so
their
I'm
20s.
already trying to like play catch up straight away. I don't want to get battered every day. There were weeks go by where I didn't throw no one. I just get battered. But that, when I look back now, that made me. That was so
who
important.
were the guys that you were with at that point? Was there, in the sense of, you were 15 at the time.
Yeah.
What's the oldest kind of?
The oldest guy would probably be back then, maybe like 27, 28.
Wow. So you're sparring with guys.
They're the elite of the elite. Like at that time, it was like the bear pit. Everybody was good. I was the up and coming kid. I was already national champion a couple of times. So I was like, and I didn't care. Like we're scrapping. We're scrapping, and I'm coming for you. It doesn't matter. And I had that mentality really early. I think it's because I got battered a lot when I was a kid. But
so what year was it? London 2012. Like, how soon before London 2012 was that? What year are we looking at?
I left school in I won the UK Games twice as I left school. I don't know if you heard of UK Games. Yeah. So I did Coventry and Bath, and.
Okay.
So that was when I was probably 2005, 2005,
so it's about
6,
7 years before Olympics. Yeah.
So by the time I was training full time, I left school, training full time, 2006 maybe, 2005.
So when did we get 2005, as I remember, we got the bid. They announced.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
I think and then 2005. Yeah. July 2005.
Yeah.
And then I'm guessing, when did it start kind of circulating around your...
Oh, well, I suppose it's... to be fair, I was at that point where I was still young.
Right.
I wasn't even looking at Olympics yet. I was still looking at trying to make national team as a senior. Still trying to... And I was just looking... It's weird, because at that age, I didn't even think about Olympics, really. I watched it. I watched it, because I had all the DVDs, and I watched them on repeat for... days. Like I knew the commentary off by heart. I watched it that many times. But I wanted to be world champion. That's what my goal was. Do you know what I mean? It was everything to me. I didn't care about anything else. It was nuts.
So you're at 15 now. You're in this bubble, training full time.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't know if I've heard this wrong. I remember you telling me you were in the Bundesliga. Was it
Yeah,
Bundesliga? Is
yeah.
that what it's called?
Yeah.
So how long between that and
So,
Germany? Like,
I don't remember my first year of Bundesliga. It's probably 18,
okay.
17.
Right, so not a few years
18.
after you.
Yeah.
Wow.
So by that time,
So just explain to everyone what's the Bundesliga.
But so Bundesliga it's basically, if you think about football, you have the Premiership, and then in Germany they have Bundesliga. It's basically the same thing
For judo.
Right. Yeah. So I went on with the team and got signed with the team. Or again, thanks to Jürgen, he was German and got me in basically, and that was it. And it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
You went to Germany and lived there, or
No. So they would fly you out. You stay in a hotel.
Wow.
They kit you out.
Wicked.
And it was brilliant. Like, you just get to go fight out in front of hundreds of people or thousands of people. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant, and it's a good push, because for us it was, I'm gonna make some money.
Oh, you did.
I'm gonna make some. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So,
you know,
do you
so
mind sharing,
even
like, roughly
even
what
let's say no, that's right. So they pay for your flight.
Yeah.
They put you up in a hotel.
Yeah.
If you stay for a week, you fight one weekend, the next weekend. They pay you just to make weight. So I can't remember now, probably like €100 just to make weight. Even if you didn't compete, you just get paid to just be there, and you know. And I can't remember now. I think if you was to win both weekends, you probably come home with about maybe €700, something like that, which is good. I know, it's yeah. And then it's.
And you're paid for, everything's paid for. Which
Everything's
is
paid for, and then they kit you out with gear, and you know, luckily the team is a great team.
So
Spremberg was my team, and mate, we had like Hugo Boss shirts, and for me back then, I thought I was a nut, so I was like walking around like that, you know. It was brilliant.
I'll ask you a little bit. So this is a league, like a football team. So literally,
this is a league,
you, like literally, like you're an athlete.
Yeah.
Right, we want Kane from the UK. We're gonna get this guy from wherever.
Yeah, the same.
Put a team together.
It's the same in wrestling, right? So
okay.
division. So they have different divisions. Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, so mate, I had a great time.
And how long did you do that for?
A couple of years. I broke my arm in one of my last matches. I snapped my arm. And I was like, oh, God, I hurt my arm. I was proper, like, folded the wrong way. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. And then I went to the hospital, and they x-rayed me, and it was like, yeah, you snapped your arm.
What,
so you're going to need surgery.
forearm, or?
No, yeah, it was my elbow. So I got a big screw in my elbow now. That was the first time. And they're like, yeah, we do surgery here. And I was like, oh, should I? Shouldn't I? I didn't really know what to do. So I called my dad, and he's like, just come home. So I flew home with a broken arm.
Wow.
And then I had to wait, because I had to get a decent surgeon. So
They probably would have sorted you out in Germany.
they would have done it there and then, mate. There and then, sorted. But I waited another couple of weeks. That was probably
worse.
bad, probably. But yeah, Bundesliga was brilliant. It was brilliant. I had a great time, and you get to experience all these different things just to be paid to go out and just fight, and it's such that team feel. I never done anything with teams. I was terrible with teams. But
did you ever go to Japan as well?
Yeah. So I went to Japan when I was 16.
Amazing.
Got absolutely destroyed. but you're fighting the best guys in the world. You're in the room with world champions. You expect to be destroyed, don't you? Especially at that age. So I went with the. So 16 actually would have been 2008. So I went with the guys getting ready for the Olympics in Beijing. So with all like the top guys. It was brilliant. Yeah, being in Japan. I was there first time I was
How
there.
long did you stay?
4 weeks, I think.
That's amazing.
So I was 16, I was getting absolutely battered.
That's amazing.
That makes
You must
you
have loved it out there.
I absolutely loved it. What more do you want? Like, for me, I couldn't think of anything better than just scrapping. Just all day, every day, chasing a dream. And I'm chasing the guys. For me, that was a brilliant thing as well. The guys that were ahead of me, getting ready for the Olympics, and all like the top lads in Japan. And then there's me. And there's me thinking, I'm next. Do you know what I mean? And I wholeheartedly believed in myself. That is a big thing, and that was again thanks to my coach Jürgen. Like, when you have a coach like that, a special coach, a bit like yourself, like you and Jürgen, you're special in a way that you can make someone feel invincible, make someone feel just special. Do you know what I mean? So I wholeheartedly believed in myself. But again, when this kind of brings you back to being a kid. When you're 15, 16 years old, the other thing that is missing when you go full time is your nutritional help.
Yeah.
Or I was a wild child. I would go out with the boys, 15, 16, 17 years old, going on nights out with the boys. And I was small, so people would quite often try and give you the shoulder.
Okay.
And I wasn't, I was wired, mate. I was absolutely wired. And I've changed now because I feel like you need to grow up, and I've made a lot of mistakes and hurt myself. And do you know what I mean? But I was a wild child. So that type of thing was, you know.
What made you like that? What made you kind of
getting my ass whooped a lot?
So by who?
But just
who hit you, bro? We're gonna
have
Who was it, Kane?
No, but
was it because you were small as a kid?
I was small, and
Right.
yeah, and you know, when you go up through school, there are bullies.
They're
But
bullies,
I didn't fear no one. I knew what I could do to people because I do it every day in the club. Do you know what I mean? But you
People
get a
wanna
chip
test
on your
you.
shoulder,
Yeah.
and people always want to test you. But you just think, listen, if I threw you, right, or if I get my hands on you, I'm going to use your head as a shovel. Right? I'm going to dig a hole with you. But this is the thing, and I've thrown people, and mate, you do some serious.
You must have some really interesting fights at school.
Interesting fights all the way up until my 20s. I just had a chip. That's where it zooms in, isn't it? No, I wouldn't say an ego, but I was like, don't try and bully me.
Yeah,
and a lot of people tried to bully me. I'm short. I'm 5'4", whatever. So you go on a nights out or whatever, you're walking through town and it happens a lot, doesn't it? Someone shoulders you or something like that. And listen, I'm in a room every day that's fueled with testosterone. And if you start to show that weakness, you're going to get battered day in, day out. So I don't know. And that was my own fault. I should be the bigger person and walk away. And I did learn that. But
not after you slammed a few people.
No, I've dashed some people, mate. I've dashed some people.
And you know what's funny about judo on that street? Like getting thrown on concrete.
Oh my God.
It does something
Listen,
to you.
Imagine you get thrown on your face.
Oh my
Imagine
God.
you get thrown on your face. No.
The Daitoshi. Yeah.
If I just pick you up and I throw you in your face.
Yeah. That's gonna.
You lose your teeth.
Yeah.
You brush your nose. You'll be really good at spitting your teeth out. That's it. No, but
You look like one of those guys. Hey, boss.
yeah, you look
I got no teeth.
But and then I was wiry. I was fired up, and I was.
But that's what
Again,
makes
I was the small one, so I always felt like, why do you think you can bully me and push me around because I'm small?
And that kind of
That fueled me, but also like being in the room, I was the young kid. I was the next one, and I won't have anybody try and bully me and things like that. And I think that's the case with most people. But yeah,
I actually saw
all
that.
these little things when I was growing up, especially again, we'll get into it in a minute. But go on.
I actually saw that in Kane's eyes we'll talk about it when we get to it, but that I could see that energy.
because
I'm going to talk about it as a very powerful thing.
Growing up, so another thing to just touch back.
Yeah.
When I was young, man, I used to eat beans on toast. I got injured all the time. That was this was why I left judo. No, but just skin.
Yeah.
And you like chip in with the boys. My mum and dad did everything for me. Right?
Do you mean that when you were
They when I moved away, they gave me money, and you're responsible for yourself. Yeah.
So just to make sure that you're not saying that your parents give you beans and toast.
No. It's my fault. It's my fault.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's my fault.
I don't want people listening to this and thinking.
Listen, my parents were my rock.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They pushed me in every way, and I'm mega grateful for my mum and dad.
They are super parents, bro. I've met them. They're amazing.
I met your dad.
Amazing.
Your dad doesn't speak much, does he?
No, he's like that. He's like who's that Knight Rider guy? What's his name?
What's his name?
Tom Selleck.
Yes.
Stands in the background.
Magnum PI.
Magnum PI. Stands in the background.
Yeah. I met your dad. I felt like he spoke to me telepathically, bro. He just looked at me. I was like, yeah, I get exactly. But he's very.
He knows what he's talking about. Yeah, 100%. He knows what he's talking about, and I trust his judgment all the time.
Shout out to his dad, man.
Yeah.
Before it comes and slams you.
I don't want to get slammed, bro. No, a lot of respect for him.
They allowed me to chase my dreams, and I'm forever grateful. And they pushed me.
So
and
touching back at your nutrition, bro, because you said you were living
sucked,
on beans on toast.
I didn't know how to cook. Yeah. College, they're like, yeah, listen, you should eat this, that, and the other. And when you're skint, try and do that. And I'm training full time, and I'm cutting weight all the time because I was always been quite big for the weight. I used to compete at 60 kilos in judo, and then towards the end, I obviously bumped up to 66, and then back down to 65. But mate, my nutrition sucked.
Do you reckon that's why you got injured?
Yeah, all the time. So it's strange. I talk about it with my close friends and stuff, but when I trained full time there, when I was doing judo, I was a man on a mission, and you couldn't stop me. You couldn't stop me. That's when I started wrestling. I started wrestling to do extra training. So I trained full time, then I go wrestling 2 or 3 times a week.
Wrestling where?
In Bristol.
Okay.
And there was a club in Bath as well, but I did all that as well as training full time in judo and then going to college. So I've always been a bit of a workhorse. And then for me, it was a battle every day. I was winning on the track, I'm winning in the gym, and I'm winning on the mat. And I had that kind of push mentality. And you couldn't tell me to have a day off. Never. But that was a big thing. So by the time I was 20, mileage, mate,
yeah.
mileage. And even I had surgery on my shoulder. So I've had my knee done, my hip, my elbow twice, my right hand twice, my left hand, my shoulder. You do the whole ears thing. I had all the, you hurt ribs from time to time. You break fingers. Yeah. You do all these things.
And this is what,
This is by the time I'm 20, 21.
What? Yeah. All of that? Yeah. By the age of 21?
My first surgery was on my knee when I was 16.
And what happened there?
You just get bust up. I had my meniscus basically removed on the right side, but I tore my MCL a bit. Yeah. But I had surgery on my knee, and that didn't stop me. I was back on the mat in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, boom, 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 just back in, bang, 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 bang. Didn't care, man on a mission. Same again, dislocated my shoulder. I had surgery and I was back on the mat probably in 2 weeks, and I'm just like that, one hand, boom, 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 practicing every day, getting better. If I'm not, that was my mentality. And again, this comes back to Jürgen as well. For every injury you have, this opens the door to a new technique and a new opportunity to build something else. So for me, if I was broken, I'm working on my engine. He's pushing me in conditioning, or it's like, when I had surgery on my knee, the first couple of days, I'm just doing rope climbs. Everyone's on the mat. I never missed a training session. Even if I was injured, I didn't miss training. I still went to training. There's always something you can do. I'll just be doing press-ups. Boom, 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 boom. Just getting better. And that's like, that took its toll on me for sure. 100%. It's from the list. I had a stress fracture in my leg.
How did you get a stress fracture, man?
Just getting kicked in the shin repeatedly, and then it and then from running, I used to run all the time. I was a man on a mission. I just go and do extra hill runs, or I just wanted it. That's the problem. I wanted it too much, and then I had nobody really to pull me back. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, in fact, the coach that Jürgen at the time, he's a brilliant coach, and I absolutely believed everything he said. If he said, listen, if you eat bloody dog turd sandwiches every single day for the next 10 years, you'll be world champion, I'd be like, absolutely, start today. So I believed everything he said, and that is, again, that's a good thing. I'm so happy for that. But never told me to slow down, take a day off. Slow down, you're doing too much, you're being ridiculous. And that was my problem, for sure.
Do you think he was like that? Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes when you're
he's brilliant. He's brilliant. In my eyes, he's brilliant. And he was tough as nails. He was tough as nails. Like some of the stories he'd tell us, he's tough as nails. and I was so grateful just to be under his wing. I'd never, if he said, listen, take the day off, I'd be like, okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we never really had that.
Yeah.
And then I just start busting myself up, and I'm not eating properly, and then I was a wild kid. Do you know what I mean? So I'd be like, I'd stay up late messing about. I would, but that's just what boys do. And again, I almost needed a mentor to live with.
Yeah.
I needed someone to go, listen, you'll never be a world champion if you're going to do this. You're never going to do this.
We spoke about this last week. Yeah.
You need the coach to say, get it together, push yourself, go hard. But then you also need someone to say, whoa, take a day off.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like...
And I would get bored. So on Sunday, what do you normally do?
Rest.
These days, when I'm working full time, I can't wait to have a day off. Back then, mate, you couldn't stop me having the same all the way through my wrestling as well. I'll be on the bike at midnight. Kate would be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Man on a mission. That's what it was.
But this is where, if you look at, this is where it would have been nice, as I said to the athlete, ever heard of active rest? So now you're going to go to the sauna, you're going to go for a swim.
Oh, I do that. I do that, but then that's competition.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So there's more like someone's going to modulate you, right? You're going to do underwater deep breathing.
And my best friend Connor, we would sit in a sauna on a Friday night, and it'd be like, I'll beat you in a sauna.
Yeah, so this is the danger of...
But then...
Alpha male 101.
Yeah,
I beat you, brother.
Listen, but then, because you're a young man, and you're pushing the limits, and you push everything, every single day, you go so hard. We're in the sauna, it's like, mate, we're in the sauna for 40 minutes, we haven't gone out yet. Stood by the door, you're absolutely dying. I'm like, listen, I'm getting out first. And then it's competition. And then you're like, right, we're going out then.
And get dehydrated.
And then
Properly dehydrated.
And then you are. I'll tell you what, some of the boys will absolutely laugh at this. We used to go to this club called XL, and we used to call it extra large in it. Right? So we used to go XL after training on a Monday night.
Yeah.
And stupidly, again, it's probably just because I'm a caveman, I give it pure beans all the time. So I'd train my absolute butt off. I've got nothing left. Then you go have a shower and we go out.
Yeah.
Then it's like...
Then you're doing the same thing but with...
Same thing with the booze. And then it's like, you're just ruining yourself. Yeah. All the hard training you're doing. I only understood that towards the end of my career. Like you can't work hard and then play hard.
Yeah.
No.
You have to sacrifice in more ways than just dieting and...
Even your mental health and all that stuff.
Usually them times would come if I was hurt. Like if I was injured in somewhere, I'd be like, yeah, we're going out. And then it's just... But no one was there to just be like, listen, you're slowing everything down. Do you know what I mean? Just take step back, go home, rest, do nothing, stay home, or I'll come round your house and I'll check if you're home.
Kane, you know what you needed, bro?
What?
With the beard and everything now, you need to drop him in with the Dagestani lot, bro. Right in, bro.
Take you to the Dagestan, innit?
Take him Dagestan. Stick with all those wrestlers there, bro.
Yeah,
Habib's dad or someone, bro.
My dad always said to me I grew up in the wrong country. He did, and back in my judo days, I would go to these places. I would travel everywhere just to get good partners. Even when I was a kid. When I was a kid, the club would be open twice a week, so I'd go to every other club. I trained before school, or sometimes my dad would come into school at my lunchtime, and we trained together then.
That's mad, bro.
So that was like, man, I was a man on a mission. I didn't care.
Yeah.
Did not care. But because I wanted it too much, I feel like that's why I got hurt a lot. And I was full beans all the time. And there was never a time where you'd be like, listen, you're 17, 18 years old, you're not ready to be stepping in with the most, everyone's fully matured at the peak of their life. Stupid. Now I understand it, but if I could tell myself, 10 years ago, it'd be fine, but
so
it was difficult, trust me.
So let's talk about this whole, because obviously you went to, so how far did you get into judo? So how far, as in, what would you say, because obviously you switched to wrestling.
World's best underachiever.
Come on, bruv, don't
I
say
was,
that about yourself.
100%.
Why would you say
100%.
that?
No way.
I broke my hand.
Yeah.
And I just got myself and walked away. That was my 7th surgery. It's embarrassing. Like I give my life to that sport, it was embarrassing. It was starting to really break me down, and I was getting depressed, and I was really like, it was so impulsive. Why I left, it was so impulsive, and I don't ever speak about it.
So you broke your hand.
I broke my hand again.
And then you thought, you know what, this is long.
I thought, excuse my language.
It's alright, we'll bleep it out, don't worry.
Oh, sweet.
Here we go.
Get ready with the beeps.
Beep, beep, beep.
No, but I was like, I'm going. And it was so impulsive, and I shouldn't have done it. I think back, I shouldn't have left.
What did your dad say about it? How did your dad deal with it?
Well, he goes, sure you want to leave? You know, I almost needed someone like Jurgen to go, don't leave.
Just take
it's
a break.
too soon. Mate, I was like 20, 21. Not even there yet. Not even a full senior yet. Do you know what I mean? And it was... I reckon I could have been, for sure, 100%, but I almost stepped out too early. And then it was my ego, for sure. And I was a bit blue, and I was a bit depressed, and that was my identity. And I was wrestling at the time, and then I thought, I'll just go and have a few fights in MMA, and I kind of got caught up in that, and that was a bit of a...
How did that go, MMA? I saw you won a few.
Yeah, but mate, I grew up in that Olympic system, and I knew that, mate, tournaments is where it's at. Tournaments is it, and I couldn't do one fight and then have
6 months off.
Yeah. I wanted to be competing all the time, and I grew up in that kind of Olympic system. I was chasing that dream, chasing to be a world champion, chasing to go to Olympic Games and that sort of thing. And going full time in wrestling after that was my redemption. I'm like, I need to chase something still.
Why not go back into judo?
My ego.
I
didn't watch judo for probably only till I started watching, teaching the kids now.
Wow.
Maybe a year ago.
Seriously?
I didn't watch judo the whole time. It broke my heart, mate, and I walked away. Mate, it broke my heart. It broke my heart, and I was like, I was getting embarrassed that I give everything. I give my heart and my soul. Everything. I ruin all relationships. I'm so selfish. I put everything into that. And I kept getting beat up. I kept by the time you're 20 and you've had 6-7 surgeries, that breaks you down.
Yeah.
So in them years, or 5-6 years I was full time, in them years I probably only had about 3 years training. So, my elbow, I was in a cast for 14 weeks, and then trying to get back on the mat, dislocated my shoulder, so that was a full year off. And then breaking my hands all the time. One time I was misbehaving. It broke my heart. I just walked away, just packed my stuff. I told Jurgen's wife, I'm done, laters. And I shouldn't have. I look back now, and I was like, you walk away too soon. Stupid.
What did Jurgen say, man?
He understood. I think he understood, when you give everything and you're just dying to win, you're dying to be on the mat, and you give everything, mate, it broke my heart. I cried so hard, man. And then that was a massive change of identity. That was my identity. That's who I was. And then I was just getting depressed. I'd give absolutely everything just to be... my aim of being a world champion, I give everything, and then it just keeps getting wiped away. Through no fault, really, to be realistic about it, no fault of my own. I was just doing too much, training too hard. I was
injuries that basically...
Injuries was the whole reason why I walked away from judo, and that's why, at the time, I was already wrestling, so I was like, I'll just wrestle.
But what I mean is, so when you were competing, were you getting bested by other people, or was it just injuries? That's what I'm saying.
No.
So what? It didn't make
sense. I was
outside, walk away because of injuries, but you're walking to another sport, which is
just as hard, or probably more difficult.
Yeah.
But it was
because it was nothing no one bested you out of technique or anything. Or
I was good. I was not blowing my own trumpet, but I was good, and I believed in myself, and I still do it now. I can still do it, but
frustration.
100%. I was
heartbreak.
In a way, it was judo was my wife, and she cheated on me 100 times.
Right.
So I was like,
I don't know.
I was like, bleep. Yeah, bleep. I was like, I'm out. Don't even talk to me about judo again. Don't even come near me.
I remember asking you. I remember the first time I met you.
And I probably told you I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's exactly what. Because the thing is, you got a bit like not
arsey.
Not really arsey, but like I felt like you were a bit uncomfortable talking. I was like, you know what? Like,
it broke my heart, mate.
Yeah,
it was absolutely broke my heart. No,
yeah.
And even now, like, I'm lucky enough that I went on to achieve something in wrestling.
Yeah.
Which I think, if I found wrestling as a kid, I'm a fish to water.
Yeah.
That suits me so much more. My style, the way my body works. When I first got into wrestling, I was like, this is for me. But judo was my love. And it was everything, and I just wanted to give everything. I just can't explain. Yeah, 2 wives, 2 wives, 2 wives. But no, it was everything to me. And then I walked away, and I was skint, and I was depressed, and I was like, I'm just going to go fight in MMA because everyone's like, yeah, make money.
Make money, yeah.
Didn't make any money.
It's like 200 quid a fight.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, mate. Yeah. So it's like you spend more training than you do. Do you know what I mean? That's like half your membership and a couple of lunches. It's ridiculous. But
so with just briefly on MMA, yeah, because we're going to move on to wrestling in a bit, yeah. So did you do the striking? Because obviously you're a full guy, yeah. So I'm pretty sure
kind of, yeah.
How long did you do it for as well? How long was the MMA from judo?
To be honest, I can't remember. Probably
2 years.
Yeah, probably not even that. Probably a year or something like that. Year and a bit. But I was, again, what did I enjoy about MMA? Smashing people.
Yeah.
Throwing people.
Yeah.
I didn't really enjoy jiu-jitsu because I find it a bit slow-paced. And even in judo, the Newaza part,
you didn't like
it's short and sharp, mate. I was good in Newaza. I was my transition from feet to Newaza was quick.
What was your special move in Newaza that you enjoyed the most? Was it a choke? Was it a lock?
Yeah, chokes, and well, to be honest, I was able to just kind of think fast on my feet. My transition was good. That's what it's all about in judo. Yeah. It's not about always looking for one technique. It's about your transition and being able to think on your feet and just fall into techniques. I was well drilled in that, and that was a big thing. And I enjoyed that bit, but I can't sit on my bum for 5 minutes and give it a 15-minute handshake. Like, it fucking makes me sick.
Butt scooping.
Again, yeah, like what did I like?
Jiu-jitsu at all?
No, I did a little bit with Jeff Lawson. Jeff is a special guy. You should have him on the podcast.
I'd love to have him.
He's got a brilliant mind. He's a great teacher, and he was a judo player,
right?
And he was from our area, from the south. He was really good at judo, and he obviously went into MMA. And he's a great person. Welcomed me in with open arms. Helped me out so much. And he allowed me to kind of earn money. And it basically allowed me to just train and wrestle at his gym. And then, obviously, I was here, there, and everywhere. I was coming to Legion. I was still going to Bristol and kind of doing all them things. And, yeah, I just didn't... That sort of thing didn't click with me. Like, you get ready to fight one guy, and then all of a sudden they just drop out because they're injured or something like that. I want to go... I want to scrap, and I want to... Tournaments is where it's at. And it's weird, but the medals, that little thing, do you know what I mean? And I built up, I got hundreds of medals. I got boxes and boxes and boxes of them. But yeah, they all mean nothing now. But at the time, they meant everything. Do you know what I mean?
And each represents the sacrifice.
100%.
That's what it's not actually the medal. It's
not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's also shows you how good you are. Do you know what I mean? Like if you get through 6 guys in a day.
Yeah, wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it's about, really. I didn't like the whole get ready for one fight, then have a few weeks off and not go in the gym for a week.
I think they would have loved Kane in the army.
Yeah.
For me, you couldn't stop. Again, back in my judo days and even in my wrestling days, I would compete on a Sunday or Saturday, back in the gym, Sunday night, Monday morning. There was never a time for rest, and that was probably something that hindered me rather than, you know, my own mental toughness put me out in many ways. Like I'd never give myself time off. I'd always find a reason to, I didn't do this very well, so I need to get back training. And then there's that insecurity, isn't it? That's a big thing of mine. Like, I think that's what helped push me on as well. It's almost being a bit insecure. Like, if I'm not technically the best, I need to be the fittest. If I'm not the fittest, I need to be the strongest. So I need to just work. If I'm working more than you, that gives me a mental edge. And if I wasn't doing the training, if I wasn't pushing myself, if I wasn't doing all these things,
I think Kane would have been Dan Gable's #1 student.
Let's switch gears, because I want to ask Amir a couple of questions. So, I remember we had a conversation. So when he met you first, he called me up. Yeah. Because I don't think I was at the gym that day.
I said I met this crazy kid. He's gonna take over the world.
Yeah, he said to me that he's brought his camper van. He had a camper van, right, or a van?
Yeah.
Or, was it a camper van?
Yeah, a little VW T4.
That's it, right? So he goes, yeah, he's coming all the way from, I think, Southampton at the time.
Yeah, I was living in Bournemouth at the time.
Bournemouth, sorry, my bad, yeah. And he's like, what? He's coming here from Bournemouth, and he's like, come and meet him and this, that, I said, yeah, okay, cool.
This was years ago.
Yeah, this is 2014, I think.
This is probably, could have even been before that.
Yeah.
No, it was before that.
Was it before that?
Yeah, it was before that.
2013.
No, it was probably before that.
Wow.
It was around the London Olympics.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
it was.
It was after the London Olympics.
After 2012,
right?
it was.
So around 2012, 20. Yeah,
maybe
something like that.
Yeah, it was winter
it's a long time ago.
Yeah, a while back.
And mate, it was cold.
So
it was cold. But
I can still see Kane.
So, can I ask you a question? Let me line this up for you, yeah?
Because I can still see Kane.
What was your
not now, the younger Kane.
What was your first impression when you met him?
I thought I met Mike Tyson.
Wrestling Mike Tyson.
Yeah, because I looked at his eyes and he said I think I was coming out of one of the.
I met you in the
change room, yeah. And there was the little sink there of the mirror, and he goes, "You're the coach today," and he goes, "Can you help me be a world champion?" Or something like. And I looked at his eyes and I went, and I swear to God,
but less cringy.
No, I swear, I swear to God.
I was like, I think I was like, I'm serious.
Yeah, there was something in the statement, and I looked at his eyes.
After it, like it was.
And all I can say is, and I know it's going to sound so nostalgic, I swear to God, it was the eye of the tiger. And I went, that's what I said, man, this kid, you got to meet him. He wants this. I can see something in his eye. He just wants to fight, and he's going to be a world champion. And I was like, right. And I think the only person that I remembered like that was Muhammad Aldamov.
Yeah.
Just had that eye, I'm going to smash everyone, brother. Nobody going to win, brother. You know, and I just thought, right, I need to protect this guy. I need to train.
I remember, like, obviously we're going to get to the bit where you guys were training together and stuff, but like now you got a little bit more free time, yeah? No, but seriously, at that time, this guy was doing nights.
No, I was, So now, so yeah, so
that was hard times.
It
was hard times,
bro, because you were on A&E almost every night.
I was in A&E and I was working on urgent care. I was doing overnights. So now my work is much more triage based. So because of the whole COVID business, you can work more from home. You're still managing caseloads, but you're a little bit more, you know. I mean, Kane was meeting me at the GP practice, sometimes going to the urgent care.
For lunch and that. Come swimming, and I'll be like, I swim like a brick.
So okay, so that your first impression.
I just remember Castamardo said something about Tyson. He said, I saw this flame and I just wafted it. He was already there, just wafted it until it became this awesome fire.
Now we know where that flame came from.
But the danger here was we had no support systems for him. We were there as family, but it's like I kept on saying, I just wish we knew some rich so and so could say, listen,
Foxcatcher kind of guy.
Without getting shot. Well, to be fair though, like if you said, "Oh, you'd be world champion," but get shot, I'd be like, "Yeah, cool."
But that's for me. It's like I remember thinking, this guy, I'm telling you, he's going to get Olympic gold medal.
So, when you saw his first session, do you remember your first session?
Yeah.
Actually,
do you remember when you walk up? You had that. I remember walking in, and you had that door.
That little glass.
The little glass thing. Yeah. It was like
steam.
It was like, I don't know, 6 inches by 6 inches or whatever. And it was just steamy, and I was like, this is a bit of me. Spit and sawdust. That's a bit of me.
Do you know? So you know the prisons. Hey, pick up the phone.
Yeah.
It was like, well, I used to walk in, shut the door, and be like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Now it's good.
So
I think Kane was obviously trying at other training at other clubs, and I think he said to me, he goes, I'm not speaking ill of anyone. Everyone has their own lifestyle. He goes, went to a few places, they kind of let me down, and I just said, look, I don't want to be messed around. And I said, don't worry, we're going to sort this out.
am I right in saying this, Kane? Yeah, from listening to what you said about coaching and coaches and stuff like this. Yeah, from what I heard, from what you're saying, it's you want a coach where you want to be. He needs to have the remote control. And you do. I don't want to think like.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to put your life into not life, but your potential in his hands, and you want to feel like he knows the best for you. And all you got to do is I'm going to go as hard as I can, bro.
Yeah, I'm the ship.
Yeah.
You're the captain.
Yeah.
And I felt that. I do remember my first day because I remember walking in, and again I'm this young kid, bit of a skinhead I think at the time, covered in tattoos. Yeah, I look a bit rough, and then I'm just like, I'm serious. I want to train, and I'm looking for somewhere to train. I'm looking for somewhere where I can come and graft, and I want to compete. Like I'm not here to mess around. I'm not like some of these guys that come in and just. Can you blow my nose? Do you know what I mean? I'm after.
We just need like.
And I remember speaking to you. I'm just saying I'm serious. I want to train and I want to get after it. Yeah. And these are my goals. I want to go World Championships, European Championships. I want to do all this sort of stuff. Yeah. And it's like okay. And then I remember training, and I'm like, you never sugarcoated anything for me, and that was to me straight away. That was like that's brilliant. Right. That's what I need. I need someone to go, oi. Sort yourself out, and you go psycho and start shouting. I'm like, okay, no. And then but that's what you need. You don't need a yes man. Yeah. You need someone to go, oi. Yeah. If you're doing something wrong, I need to be told. Yeah. And I feel like and Jürgen was that way with me as well, and you were the same. And to me, that kind of I vibed with that, and that was all good, and I'm ready. So I like this place. And then you already had good guys in the gym. And I was fresh from judo, but I was lucky enough to be in judo at an era where you could do everything. So it was
so doubles, singles.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
already had your leg attacks,
all of that. Except my style in judo was quite different. But I wasn't. I was ready to just kind of jump in. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't.
So how did you feel your wrestling was coming in? And what after the first few sessions? What was it? What kind of?
I knew that I had a lot of bad habits, but that's just judo.
Give us an example.
Giving up my back.
Right. Okay. Right.
Like you build up a habit of if you try and throw someone and you don't, and you're not successful with the throw, you just drop to your face. And that's a bad habit I had for so long. And you just cover your neck, look after your arms, so you don't get them pulled off. That I knew that was a bad habit, and also my position, keeping my head in the way. That was judo is so upright. Do you know what I mean? That was a big thing that I needed. Yeah, my position, my feet, and also I saw that you had a lot of knowledge. And I was just like, let's do it. I felt sure of it already because it was a bit spit and sawdust. The gym at the time was like just old school. There was holes in the walls and missing windows, and I loved that. Yeah. Listen, that's what it's all about. Too many kids these days want the fancy gym for Instagram. It ain't about that. It ain't about Instagram. It's about getting after it. It's about spit and sawdust. Like it should be rough. It should be rough, And if it is nice in there. Training should be dirty. It should be nasty, and that's how you get good.
So how did you feel like? And I'm gonna ask you the same. Actually, let me start with MMA. So, after the first training session, if you don't mind me asking this question, but what did you feel about how did you feel? What did you see in Kane's game at the time? We thought he's got something. And what did you see that you know what, there's some, like you said, you had bad habits, but for your eye, what did you?
I just felt he moved like a cat. I felt this is perfect wrestling body. I could never move like that. He already had. I remember thinking this guy can move like a cat.
Give me an example. Like what do you
So
mean by that?
his ability to misdirection, come back up, and then readjust. There was no like robotic movements. It was very much fluid. You know, he would come down, come back up, change position, re-level, wouldn't get caught in certain place. And I thought, this guy's moving like a cat. And obviously we looked at he had the strength training behind him as well. Obviously we implement other bits and pieces to give him the edge of the rotator cuff, the strength in those areas. Because I always said, you move like a cat, we've got strength of a gorilla. You know, and even gorillas can move like cats if you look at them. They're, you know, technically they're very mobile creatures. And he just had, for me, even my dad used to say he's got the body of a wrestler. He moves like a wrestler. It's difficult.
To
like
pinpoint.
like he would have done really well in the Caucasus nations. They would have like, yeah, come brother, you with us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because his whole body has the way
Explosive as well, isn't it?
explosive, but it wasn't like to be fair, Kane would have been okay in any nation. I mean, it could have been okay in America, it could have been okay in Iran, but I think the Caucasus he would have been just right. That kind of Dagestan Chechen body movements. Even Muhammad Alban said this kid is really good. He has really good movement.
So when you say, can you just give us a bit of an example, bro? Like, what's the difference between the Dagestani style, Iranian style, and American? We know.
I mean, to be fair, they're very fluid now. So if you look at some Iranians move like Americans, some Americans move like Dagestani, some Dagestanis move like Americans. If we're talking about, say, early 90s, the styles were very much, you know, the Brands style, you know, the Brands twins.
Yeah, well, yeah. So back then it was a bit, say, like the Americans were all like pressure,
boom,
and the Russian guys look like they're just kind of like they're like slick. They're like,
and I think the Iranians are somewhere in the middle.
Touch me, I'm gone type thing, and they're almost like they just woke up. It's like they just got out of bed and they're kind of a bit like
oh, I see what you mean.
That kind of like loose and ready and then pop.
Like Saitiev.
Yeah.
I was watching a few compilations of his, bro. My God.
I don't know. Think of a good example. Say like, yeah, you mentioned the Brands brothers. They're like pressure.
But
and then you get someone who like Sargush. Who was like
David
slick. You touch him, he's boom, gone. Like he's just out of the way. They almost don't want to feel your pressure, so they use that. Do you know what I mean?
So then you start seeing the likes of people like Kendall Cross. So he was like that kind of inside leg trip.
Yeah.
He fought Batiro's brother. He fights for Bahrain, I think now, and he really beat him back. There's a really not Mavlik, Adam Batirov.
Adam Batirov he wrestles for Bahrain.
Yeah, so he Kendall Cross fought him when he was just up and coming, the younger brother, and I could see Mavlik sitting watching, and Kendall looked like he was Dagestani the way he was moving. So then you had like the Charig Kolats who were kind of pressure, but also very slick movement.
Unreal.
Then you have John Smith who looks like someone's uncle. Like someone's dad on the mat, and he used to beat everyone up.
He's so good, yeah.
Like I never forget when he done his low single. They'll be like, yeah. I remember the commentary saying that's a low percentage hit move. You know, we don't really see much. And guess what? He smashed everyone with it. I even saw there's a move called the Mezga when you pull the head and you go inside the leg, and he'd done it as he was getting run off the mat against Sarkisian, who was USSR champion. I was like. Then you see those styles of wrestlers, but there's just a few of them coming through in America. The Iranians, I think, were more like, personally, when I saw them, they had the pressure of the Americans, but a little bit more mobile like the Russians. And then everyone started mixing. Before you knew it.
Through internet as well, you kind of like...
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I suppose when they all start mixing, and especially when the USSR separated,
yeah, absolutely.
Begin their own styles of training. Do you know what I mean? But
I think Ken would have been fine anyway. I remember just saying, if you just cloned a few of him, cloned a few of Muhammad Aldamos and had like handfuls of each
again,
weight.
This is where you could, if you was to integrate education with wrestling, which there's no reason why you can't.
Yeah.
Just have a full-time centre somewhere, and all you need is training 5 days a week.
Yeah.
If you're wrestling every night, and you had 2 hours of wrestling every night, and all these kids would go into college and doing or working towards their career after, the level would fly up. But
So we know this, right? So look, exactly what Kane said. It's not about a particular genetic cohort. Yeah, we do know some genetic beasts from certain nations, bless you. But who's the powerhouse of wrestling now? America. And what's America? It's a hodgepodge. It mixes different nations, different cultures. You've got the old Irish, the Italians, the Eastern Europeans, the natives, the Afro-Caribbean. So there's not like, oh, these Americans, they're in the mountains. No, bro. So how did it work? Just like you said. And what did Charig say? He goes, watch 2017. He goes, we're going to be the world champions. We're gonna win the world. And he exactly what he said, because he started seeing it. And then they weren't shy to call upon other coaches. Said, can you come to us? We'll support you. We'll help you. Ivan Ivanov, assistant Greco-Roman coach. He's retired now. They had a couple of old USSRs. They had a couple of Europeans, a couple of Iranians. Mix it up. And so it's exactly this. You have people who, like Kane and Muhammad Al-Damaf, who's right. You protect them, you guard them, you support them. And you just say, right, we're going to do this for you. We're going to get you for the program. 100%, and only God knows best. Olympic gold medal right there. I just knew it. I was like, yeah, he's going to get a gold medal.
I just feel that, you need that system, don't you? You need a conveyor belt. You need it from 4 years old in wrestling all the way to 30 years old in wrestling. You need somewhere to house these people. And there isn't anywhere, and I was a bit gutted about that. If there was a full-time centre, I would have gone there. But there wasn't. But
we interviewed a guy, Mike Torriero, of last year. He works with colleges. I spoke to him about it, actually. And he went through the whole system, bro, how they do it. And bro, it's unbelievable, bro. Like, imagine
the amount of
high
support
school,
is amazing, isn't it?
because after high school, what they do is the basketball court becomes a wrestling gym. And from, I think he said 3 o'clock till about, I think he said 6 or 8, it's back-to-back wrestling sessions every single day. And it goes, the season starts from November, finishes in March.
This is why they're so good.
That's why they're so good, man.
This is why they're so good. It's because
from November to March, every week competing.
It's because there's loads of competition, there's loads of kids, and there's loads of support.
You went, right?
Yeah.
So talk us a bit. Where did you go?
I went to Cornell.
Where is that? Which state is that?
New York, so it's Ithaca.
Right.
And lucky to get my foot in the door. They don't just let anybody go. I was lucky to get.
How did you even come about that?
Through Alan Jones. His friend basically got me in touch with someone who, at the time, it was Finger Lakes Wrestling Club.
Finger
Lakes Wrestling Club. And then he got me in touch with a guy called Jake, and Jake managed to get me in, and I went there. First time I think I went for
6 weeks, wasn't it?
6-8 weeks, something like that.
What was that like, man?
Loved it.
Didn't you meet? Was it Yanni you met out there?
Yeah. So as time goes on, you get to know these people. I end up staying with Yanni quite a few times, and
Yanni
Yanni definitely. Yeah.
World silver medalist.
Yeah, world silver medalist now. But that just goes to show how good that club is, And at the time, Kyle Date was there. And you're rubbing shoulders with all these guys, and I'm lucky enough to just get my foot in the door. And I just, my mentality there was the same as here. I'm just going to get after it, and I'm going to go for it. But you're the outsider. You're fresh meat, so it's sink or swim, isn't it?
How did you do?
Yeah, good. Well, listen.
But doesn't that show?
Everybody wanted me as a partner, so I'm all good.
So doesn't that show? That's something funny. Coach Harley was talking about. He goes, I went across the ocean, trained with those guys, came back and went, yeah, there's nothing they could have taught me different. What they have, what we haven't got, is really good bodies and infrastructure.
It's not. They have good coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like the coach there who I spoke to a lot, Mike Gray, is Yanni's coach.
Yeah.
Brilliant coach.
Amazing.
Brilliant coach.
Yeah. Amazing.
But what they're doing is no different than what we do here.
Single leg here is the same.
Yeah, listen, it's all the same. Yeah. But what do they have that we don't?
Bodies.
Hundreds of people, and good people.
Thousands, bro.
And all the kids with the right mentality.
Yeah.
That's what it is. When Legion, I'd say, was at its peak, we'd have probably maybe 20 guys, right? They all had, we're all decent, good, and we all had good mentality, right? But how long did it take to get that? It took a long time. And we need that from 4 years old to 30 years old. Yeah. And that's why we're at disadvantage. and because you probably see it all the time, is that people come in, they have this vision and this drive, and they want to do it, and what gets in the way? Work, money, anxiety. And that was a big thing for me. Like, I used to come here, sometimes I couldn't afford to pay for training, and I would sleep in the gym. All my money would go on fuel just to get home, you know. It was difficult, and that's what we don't have. That's why we're not progressing. It's because there's no infrastructure, there's no.
But this is crazy, right? So
just before I forget, well, Mike was, because I thought it was a government funded thing, you know, wrestling. You know that local.
We get nothing, mate.
Not in America.
Oh yeah.
Local businesses are the one that fund the wrestling programs, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they fight over who can sponsor it.
So
yeah.
But why are they there? Because it leads to a university. Yes. And universities, their sport is massive. Like, sport is, you could be as thick as 2 short planks, right? and then go to a brilliant university because you're sick at wrestling, or you're 7'1" and you can throw a ball. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So. And
have you been?
But if you
go to any fights, any
yeah,
matches?
so obviously I went to Cornell in the freestyle season. I went there in the folk style season. I went there for quite a while. I went there quite a few times. I don't remember how many times now, 4 or 5 times. I'd go for like 2 months at a time or whatever, or I'd sleep on Yanni's couch. He's such a good kid. For a kid who's as good as he is,
wow,
he's such a friendly person. Yeah, he's a good kid. It's mad that I call him a kid because he's an adult. But do you know what I mean? Like, without people like him, without people like, you know, like Mike Gray and Jay Carnone and people like that allow you to come in, it would have been even more difficult for us. Do you know what I mean? I'm lucky to go there and to get my hands on these people, and because again, exposure is another thing. What British wrestling don't do, what do they not do? Send you to tournaments. You need exposure. If you don't know where the bar is, how can you chase the bar? Do you know what I mean? If you don't know how good if you don't know, we all think we're sick. We go to a tournament in Russia, or you go to a tournament in the US, you get just waxed all up the mat. If you're not being exposed, how can you grow? How can you push your own limits?
You don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
The gears don't exist for you.
And then you see it, obviously for me, again, I just used what I knew as a kid. I went to this club. I went to that club. I went to Fresno State. A brilliant training facility. The wrestling wasn't as high level, but they worked like dogs, mate. Absolute dogs. And it was boiling hot. It was horrible. It was brilliant. And they have what we don't have. No wonder they're successful, because they can just like, oh, by the way, I'm going to uni, which loads of people do here, but it's all paid for. Because they want you to wrestle, and they have a program that allows you to do that. No wonder they're good.
And they fight over you, bro.
Yeah,
they
they
want the best guys. And high school matches get 10,000 people.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It's just like 15,
it's crazy
watching 15, 16-year-olds.
Yeah,
because those guys in the stands, a lot of them went through the high school system and wrestled as well. So it's like this whole.
In my time there, you know, I spent quite a few months there over the times that I did go. I was so jealous. You know, they got everything they need. They got everything they need. You know, some days there'd be just you and me. Like, and but I worked hard, and I give everything I did, and I'm so grateful for the time, and I'm so grateful for you guys allowing me to come in and train and do all that sort of stuff, giving me a platform to come in and push my dreams and ambitions and that sort of thing. But you know, we needed 20 guys in the morning.
I never forget, we used to have training in the morning.
And disgusting. You walk in at 5 in the morning, I'm like, oh, get out.
Everybody would say...
I'm led in the gym or led in my van.
Yeah. Everyone would say, yeah, we're going to train, all right. I said, Kane, watch very carefully. Just watch these guys. They're going to just disappear in about 1 or 2 days. So they got to the point where there was only one other guy there. Remember Terry?
He was a good guy.
He was a good guy. He was about 6'4",
Yeah, he was brilliant.
It was brilliant. And I remember
He couldn't run them and say that. He used to die. He used to take us to
Do you remember
stairs. Where is it? Is it
the staircase?
Is it Stratford, is it? We
You know, used to jog all the way down.
We used to do these stairs, and we'd do bear calls upstairs. I'd be carrying this lump up the stairs.
Do you remember?
And I loved it because I was chasing it, and I was getting better all the time. I was always getting better, and I'm getting tougher. And do you know what I mean? I loved it. Terry,
you know, on the way back, we had to carry him
back at the gym, and he'd be walking back. By the time that we're wrestling and that, he's just like, he'd be like smoked, he'd be absolutely done.
That was about 5:30 in the morning.
That's ridiculous.
That was wicked, man.
That was horrible.
That's what it takes, though, man.
It does, and you know, I think back at the times, I would train all day Monday. Tuesday morning, I'd probably go to work, then I'd drive to Legion.
Stay over.
Train the night, stay over, train Wednesday morning, train Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Thursday night, then I drive back.
Weekend work.
And then I go back to work, and then, do you know what I mean? And then it's no good. It's no good. It was no good for me, but it's what I needed to do. Do you know what I mean? And it helped me get so much better.
I remember, Amir was telling me, why is he going to work, man? No, because the thing is, it's like...
Some skin.
No, not even that. It's like, it's a shame.
Yeah.
Because if you all... Imagine, like, for example, all you had to think about was getting into...
This is why I was so... When I was in, like, Cornell, I just be like, you guys got it so good. You got it so good.
Yeah.
And all even, even say in places like Iran, they probably have the same. Just somewhere to train.
Yeah.
A decent coach. Somewhere to train. And
I think this is interesting because I think when we took Kane to one of the first tournaments, no one ever knew him, right? No one ever knew who he was. Obviously, tattoos and coming. Oh, he's probably an MMA fighter. And I remember thinking,
rough.
I remember thinking, Kane's gonna kill everyone. And I remember he battered. I think it was. So every nation...
Let's not expose
I
won't say any names.
I know he's going to throw him under the bus.
He basically battered every nation. So Welsh, Irish, English, Scottish, every single one of their top boys he basically dealt with. And I remember them saying, where did he come from? And I said, yeah, And I remember there was one thing that happened in one of the tournaments. I was like, Kane doesn't move. The bent leg Turk. And I went... But I can't teach it to you because you wouldn't. He's like, just show it to me, and I was like, just do what you're doing, bro. Don't worry.
I remember some things you used to say. You'd be like, listen, if you can smash him up, break his leg, and that's me. I'm like,
Cobra Kai.
I'm like, fucking nuts.
John Grease, bro.
Brilliant.
Oh my days.
No, but I loved them times. Like, it was good, and we used to travel as a team, and
That's nice.
it was brilliant. And training back then was really tough.
Yeah.
Really tough. We did everything we could to kind of make it hard, get better. And one thing we never neglected. Some people in their training they just want to go hard. We spent so much time on technique.
Yeah.
So much time on technique, and that's you need to that's where the time comes in, because you can put an hour a day to conditioning, but when you start putting 2 or 3 hours a day to technique, that's when you're boom, 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 you start to grow, and that is neglected. Some people just think you need to come in and go hard. That's not the case. But
when did you start feeling that things are starting to start to flow in your wrestling?
I felt good as soon as I made that transition to wrestling, but because I felt like a fish in water anyway. I felt like I was meant to be there.
But when you were going competing, so did you kind of like your first competition? Were you like
my first ever? I was still doing I was still full-time judo at the time. When I did my first wrestling tournament, the coach I was training with at the time didn't bother coming with me, so I just went with my old man, and I smoked everyone. And I was like, this is easy. I just smoked everyone, and it was easy, and I was
do
like...
you remember what competition it was?
Can't remember. It was in like Newcastle.
Like a regional...
No, it was in Newcastle. It might have been like... I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
Right.
But I was dashing people. and my dad went to speak to some of the people who were in charge of the tournament and was like, what's your, performance pathway? And they looked at him like he was some sort of idiot. And he's like, what are we doing here? Like, it's, why commit time to something where there isn't that pathway? But again, I think my ego and, the fact that I was just like so beat up by judo that I was like, I need to chasing something else. I don't care. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like I just, because I remember saying to you, like, it's like I'm 10 years behind, but I'm not. I just did a different form of wrestling. That's essentially what it is. And then
for someone who's done judo and wrestling, how similar are they?
Back then.
Yeah, back then. I'm not talking about
now. It's like
judo.
Now it's like chalk and cheese, but then it was the same. It was the only thing is we wore
uniform.
Yeah,
that was it.
Throw the gi out the way, just for a minute.
Me and some of the boys used to wrestle anyway, so we just would do judo but without a gi. So it was pretty much the same.
It was just the rule set basically that you had to kind of
the rule set. Yeah. Obviously the newaza parterre.
Yeah.
That was very different. So that obviously took some time.
But the takedowns, you kind of.
Yeah, mate. We grew up doing that. It was no biggie. But it was then it's perfecting it for wrestling and realizing that you're fighting someone that's like a bar of soap as opposed to someone where you could just grab anything.
Right.
Because that's essentially what judo is. You just boom, grab, go, boom, smack. Just go. Whereas wrestling is it's a whole different game. You have to learn to dictate the match in different ways, control the match in different ways, using different ties. Whereas judo, you can take a back seat. You can be passive, but look as if you're attacking. Whereas wrestling, a back step, you get shot clock. A back step and you look negative. You can't run from someone who's clubbing you and slipping inside your arms and chasing legs the whole time. You have to go forward. It's very different, but for me, I felt like I was just a fish in water. I just wish that I was in maybe a place where I could have, or even when I was doing judo, my old man would just go, should have been born in Japan or born in Russia. Like it was, you can always think like that, but it ain't never going to change, is it? And I knew, Eric, like when I went to Cornell, I was like, I'd love to live here. I'd love it. Like, I'd love to have just the bodies, or because we were on about going to Iran, or like going to Russia.
I love judo, bro.
Yeah, well,
Come to my house, brother. Eat food. You like to eat? I make you a nice kebab.
But they'll be looking for you on the mat though, bro.
100%. I'm like,
Go get him.
Covered in tattoos.
How do you say white boy in the radio, bro?
How do you say white boy? Safid. Go get that Safid.
Yeah. But
again,
listen, that's it's how you look at it, isn't it? That's a gift.
Yeah.
Someone is
sharing their culture with you, innit?
Yeah, no, but like, if you walk into a room and you're the new guy in the room, you're fresh meat, right? Treat that. Don't look at it as if I'm going to be bullied. Treat it as if like I've got some real matches now.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the way I thought about it. Like when I would go, me and Kate used to argue so much about me going away for long periods of time. I would go away for 2 months, and she'd be like, she'd get upset and think I'm going on a jolly, but I'm actually like
getting smashed.
You're fresh meat, mate. Yeah, you're getting smashed. You're going to try and I'm picking out the best guys in the room. I'm trying to get better. Yeah. I'm suffering. I'm hungry.
You didn't go there for
holiday. I'm cutting weight all the time.
You wasn't going holiday.
I realised that I was big for the weight, and I'm cutting weight all the time.
Yeah.
So it ain't fun.
No.
There's no parties or anything. I'm just getting after it. Do you know what I mean? It's you're fresh meat in the room. Same as when I walked into Legion. Everyone's going to come after me. I'm just a new guy. Same when I went to Bath as a kid. I'm the new kid. So people are going to try and...
Also, there's a thing about You can't come in here.
You want to you can't come in my house and start to dictate.
Yeah.
So people go, let's have it.
Even
and
the coach.
Listen,
coach like, you know what? You need to watch this guy.
How many times have we had when a new guy comes in? We just smoke him. Yeah. And we just line him up with everybody. But we used to do it.
I'm like, Kane,
Listen. There's this new guy. He thinks he's tasty. Smash him. So we just go after him. I'll have him first. They'll have him second. They'll have him third, and we'll just send him home. But if he wants to stay, then he becomes one of our best friends, doesn't he?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's the same when no matter where I went.
Yeah.
You know, like the same as when I was training in Fresno. It's like you step in the room, you're the new guy. You walk in with a, I don't know, GB singlet on or whatever, and they think you're tasty, and you just, let's have it. But that's how you get good, and you need to have that mentality. Yeah. But also you need to understand that. But that's a gift. Yeah. You've got the opportunity, right? Today is no longer training. Today's matches, and today's comp. So that match that you're going to feel with this guy on your first day, it's like the competition. This is the final, and that's every match. And the same. When I was growing up as a kid, like when I went to Japan the first time, Jürgen would count the amount of matches we'd have, and I think in that month we'd had like 400 matches.
Wow!
What?
So
collectively.
In that month you'd have hundreds of matches. Every day when you step on
the team.
Me.
How's that even possible, bro?
So you
in 1 month.
When you go on the mat,
day.
right? No, it's even more than that. Yeah, it's even more than that. You get especially in judo,
right?
You go out, you're the European. They love practicing with Europeans. They give you a belt, you wear it on top of your belt, right? You're out the front for 12 rounds of 6 minutes.
Wow.
12 rounds of 5 minutes, right? That's one round, right? So you've had 12 matches, right? Then you stay on, somebody else gets the belt, there's another 12 matches, so you just keep going. And you're on the mat for 2 or 3 hours a day. And then not only are you on your feet, you're in newaza, right? So you've had 30 matches by the end of the day.
Wow.
You do that Monday to Friday.
Wow.
4 weeks. That's a lot of matches.
Yeah.
And then it takes discipline. Then you start doing it on your own. So I went to Japan on my own. I went to America on my own. I went to all these places on my own. And it's no different in wrestling. Like, especially in Cornell, that I love the training. You do an hour go with someone, a match, an hour. You and me, one match. You and me, we go an hour, right? And it's, mate.
What does that look like, an hour match, bro?
Like death. The room's hot.
Is there
the room's hot.
There's rounds?
No.
What do you mean no, bro?
It's an hour match. You and me, we go for an hour. Listen, they do it all the time. That's toughness, mate.
So 1 second. So who wins? How'd you win?
There's
no pinning.
Who got smoked? Who's on their back a lot? Me and you, we wrestle an hour go, right? Then we drill, or like you drill first, do technique, 20 minutes, half an hour. Then we do an hour go, you and me, and then you do conditioning. Or say you do like a 5 minute go, 6 minute go, 7 minute go, 8 minute go, 9 minute go, 10 minute go, then back down, boom, 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 with the same partner. Very different that in that way. You are with the same partner all day, right. And then the next day you have somebody else.
But you need to keep your calories up, man. Like how much?
When you're cutting weight, you're dying, aren't you? You're dying, and that builds toughness, mate. That builds toughness. That gets you, it gets you ready. Do you know what I mean? And I love that. I love being in that grind. I love like just getting stuck in. And I wasn't afraid to do any of that. And on top of that, I'm doing my program from either what you've given me or what the guys have given me back in Cardiff. Like I had an S&C coach, I had a conditioning coach, like Matt Archer, my strength coach back in Cardiff was unreal. Unreal. Absolutely loved it. Hard, dying, but then you'd be doing that as well. So this is what full-time training is about, and that's what you need to be hitting. And some of the kids that come in training these days, I know I sound quite negative, but mate, come in, trained an hour. It ain't about.
And they're on Instagram.
Yeah, mate. Killed it. Did 6 rounds.
Lions eat first.
Yeah. Yeah, that is it. Yeah, mate. Did 6 rounds of 5 minutes. What else? Listen, there's world champions out there that do that to warm up. Like it's. Do you know what I mean? Like, and again, like every time I've been to somewhere like this, it exposes you're the racehorse, and the blinkers are being taken off. It exposes you, and you're like, that's the level I need to be going. So that's why you need to go to tournaments and you need to go to training camps. When I was a kid and we used to go to training camps, as a child, so on the national team, I think I was national team at like 13, 14, and you go to a training camp. I went to Ukraine and all these different places in the middle of winter. It's horrible. And you're on the mat and you do 20 rounds of 5 minutes every day, 2 or 3 times a day.
Wow.
On the mat. Like that's the benchmark. That's what you should be looking at. That's full-time elite level training, not turn up at the gym, have a chin wag, plenty of handshaking.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Or miss the warm up.
Yeah. But that's me now. I miss every warm up. I'm too fat and old and well past it. But no, that was it for me. I was just kind of exposed to it all and absolutely loved it. And
so let's touch upon your Commonwealth, bro.
Yeah.
So the road to Commonwealth.
Yeah, loved it.
What year was that?
2018.
Okay, so
that Golden Coast, wasn't it?
Gold Coast.
Yeah, so that's Australia, right? Yeah. So talk us about your preparation for that, when did you start preparing for it? And, is that when you were going to
6
America?
years before.
6 years before.
No, but
when did you decide you were going to go?
Right, because I missed out on Glasgow.
Yeah.
All right. Politics.
Yep.
All this sort of thing. I was like, right, compete for Wales. I'm going. Gold Coast. I'm looking at people unbeaten in 2014, and I'm like, and I'm sat at home. And the same thing, like it's miserable. Like I missed out on so much because I was injured and broken, and back in my judo days was the same. But there's a lot of politics, and it bust me up, and I was like, listen, 2018, I'm doing it. I don't care. And I knew, and I said this to my old man, I said, it'll be me and Badrang in the final. I said that years ago. I said it years ago, and I wrestled him in Singapore at the Commonwealth Championships. So I knew what I was doing years before, and I knew that was my goal. And I was going to all the Grand Prix in the years leading up to it, so I was being exposed to elite level.
So how did you get into the Grand Prix?
GB send you. So I went European Championships and all that sort of thing.
How did you get on the Grand Prix?
Yeah, well, I'd say I think I always wrestled well. I just never had enough of it. Like I compete and then you have like 3 months of no tournament. Where these guys competing every weekend, I'm at such a disadvantage. I wrestle well, scoring everybody. Scoring everybody, I'm just not competing enough. And that's another problem within British wrestling. But there's, I've got some guys now with my little club where I'm trying to push some of these guys. When can we compete?
In 6 months.
In June?
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
How are you ever meant to be elite?
Yeah.
It's hard. But anyways, so before I get on a real rant, looking back at my performances, I did well. I can score on everybody. But I make mistakes because I'm not competing enough.
Match sharpness, basically.
There was never enough, But I'm doing all these tournaments, getting ready. I knew what my level was. I knew I knew I can beat people.
I remember Kane. We spoke and you said, "Coach, I can beat him. I can beat him." And I said, "I know you can, but it's just that knee."
Yeah. I've had a bad leg for a long time. And even, I absolutely destroyed it at the games. My first match. I tore my LCL and my popliteus in my first match. And I had a broken thumb. And it was destroyed. That was my first match. And it was gone. And
was that against okay.
No, but yeah, I just.
Don't worry. You can just go on YouTube and find out.
There's an awful picture of my
leg
my foot
going up like that.
Yeah. I'm sat on my bum, and my foot's that way.
Because someone is pulling it.
Yeah, well, I just kind of my own fault as well, but
you still done the
but
job.
after all this preparation, do you know what I mean? Well, if we go back to my preparation, like I did everything I could. There was no stone unturned. I did everything I could all the way leading up. Like I did everything.
Injuries.
Yeah. I was actually with Wally.
Mm.
I was doing just one time. This
Was
8 weeks before.
Was that Legion or was it in Wales?
This was in Cardiff.
Cardiff, yeah.
I was with Wally.
Oh, I remember Wally said he came down to you.
And I was going to Greece the next day for a training camp with Wally. And Commonwealth Championships is in 2017.
Yeah. What's the difference between that and
So
to qualify for the
yeah. So that basically gives you like a ranking. But you know, obviously it's good exposure to who you're going to compete against at the games. Just warming up, doing cartwheels down the mat, slipped on some sweat, bust my ankle, complete. I can't remember what the ligaments were, but gone. And then that was probably 2016. My ankle was taped until 2018. So I used to spend no. I had no surgery, nothing like that. I didn't want to. I didn't have time.
Remember taping
I'm getting
it
off
up.
course. Yeah,
Remember taping it
yeah,
up.
it's ridiculous.
But then obviously when you went to the Commonwealth, you got to the finals.
I leading up to the Commonwealth Games, I broke my thumb training, and I just left it. And I was like, oh, it'd be fine, and it's like black, and I just taped it all up. I just taped it all up. It'd be fine, and I couldn't have surgery anyway. I got to get ready, haven't I? And then you just kind of get on with it, and I'm so used to it at that point. So it's in a way, it's a blessing that I've kind of been in the path that I have. That a broken thumb is just another thing. Yeah. You just get on with it and you do it. But now, my thumb's destroyed. I had it fused because I couldn't fix it. The dwarf one.
Oh my god, what? That looks weird.
It's like a thumb, isn't it?
Why is it so short?
They cut it all out. So the joint had broken so bad that it couldn't be fixed.
Yeah.
So they fused it. Now I've got a big plate in there, a load of screws. I've got 6 screws in that hand. So that's my thumbs up.
You can't. And you can't.
No.
What about airports? There?
No. I got a screw in my
Titanium.
arm and shoulder and that sort of thing. But
in airports, do they flag up on
No.
airports?
I don't know what it is.
Okay, it's probably plastic then.
No, it's
I'm
probably
joking.
a different type of titanium.
I'm joking. So yeah, that's mad. So getting that.
Yeah.
Broken
But all that
going into
preparation,
the championships.
it never. Yeah. So no, my ankle was with the championships,
yeah.
but I think I broke my thumb in November 2017. Still training at Legion. Then I went to America on January, 3rd of January, something like that. So I didn't really get Christmas, dieting the whole time. Went to America, trained in Cornell for 6-7 weeks.
Yeah.
Then went to Fresno, trained there for a month. Then come back. I was probably in the UK for probably about 2 weeks. Come to Legion for a couple of days.
Then you went straight to the Commonwealth.
Then we went straight to the games, and then that was in April. So I basically had, So my thumb was broken for maybe 6 months before the games.
But did it heal at all?
No, I just taped it up. My thumb, the joint, it would just give way. So if I thumb block like that,
Blink.
like that, it just folds. It just went boom like that, and it would just give way. So that would almost turn inside out. It would go that way.
God.
And then I'd moan about it, as you do. I just get on with it. But I was so like, listen, I've waited so long for this. That was my redemption. For me, if I won the Commonwealth Games, you'd never see me again. Never step back on the wrestling mat ever again. Yeah, 100%. That was my redemption. That was my day. I left judo. I left it in a sour state.
Yeah.
I was very upset. I was quite depressed about it, and I still am to this day. I still get upset. Like it's like that was my one true love, and I wanted to, I'd give anything to have been a world champion. But yeah, I don't know. And then just go out there, compete, wrestle hard. Did all the right things. Smashed my knee up in my first match, just typical.
How bad?
Like, my knee would bend the wrong way.
And how did you even... So how many fights did you have after that?
3.
So you fought 3 fights after that with
You won all of them.
Yeah. No, I lost a bad drain.
In the finals, you went to the finals. But remember, you had no split in your knee.
Yeah, so they tried to take my leg up for the final because I'd had a few hours in between that, and it was just getting worse. Not even that. It was just bent the wrong way. It was just like it was very loose, and I'm trying to move. And
I remember, I think Badran pushed you, and you just kind of.
I fell over.
You just
fell over.
I was like, what happened?
He actually toe-stepped me. He toe-stepped me, and my knee went boom like that. And I was like, oh.
Do you know that snatch single on set the foot?
There's a picture of me sat on the floor. I'm on my knees, and I'm just like, Badrang's Badrang. He's best in the world.
Yeah.
He's absolutely unreal.
But I remember.
I just wanted to that was my. No, not then.
Not with his knee like that, man.
But
I remember saying, Kane, you can beat him.
It just, he basically toe-stepped me, and my knee just folded, and I was like, oh. And I could just like. There's that moment of weakness that kind of comes into your mind, like, I'm here. You almost like settle for it, do you know what I mean? But a broken thumb, my knees in bits, like I've had such a hard lead up.
What does that medal mean to you? Honestly?
Everything. Well, I say nothing. I don't want to. I don't like talking about it. I don't show it off. Yeah. But to me, that's the only one that's in the house. And like to me, that was. Like I said, if I won gold, I'd never step back on a wrestling mat ever again. But because
really?
100%, 100%. Just because that for me was going to be my last day.
When you look at the next,
didn't care. I just didn't see anything past 2018 because I was getting old then as well. So it was
not really, but
I was.
How old were you? 26, 25?
No, that's old.
20.
That's old in grappling years.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously, it's 4 years old.
But it's dog years. It's dog years, isn't it?
It is dog years. I had so many miles on me. I trained full time since I was 15. I've been on the mat since I was 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long
People don't realise that people start training when they're like 17 or 15. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why don't you train anymore? Because I don't want to train anymore. I've done it. Like it's now I'm onto a new chapter in my life.
So this is what I was going to ask you. So you had your Commonwealth. I know it's bittersweet with the injury.
I did try to make a comeback. I had surgery on my hand.
Yeah.
I had.
We had this conversation.
I rehabbed my knee. I come and see you. I come down to train with Wally and I see you. I was going to Spanish Grand Prix. British Wrestling just give me a load of funding. I went back to the States, trained there for a couple of months. It was getting stressful. My hand wasn't right. Couldn't thumb block. My thumb was destroyed. My knee's still not right. And all these other things. I'm just getting old and I'm just getting tired and I'm skint, mate. I'm absolutely broke. I'm broke.
I don't mean to laugh, but
no, but I'm skint. When you listen, I'm like 27 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
I ain't got a penny. I ain't got a pot to piss in. I haven't got a penny. I've got shit clothes. I've got no life. Got no house. I owe money on a car. I've got credit cards. Like my life's a mess. And I'm trying to compete again. Why? Why? And it's like I've got a medal in my drawer. That means for me that's my redemption. That was my way back. I stepped out of judo early, made a massive mistake. Loved wrestling. Loved it, absolutely lived and breathed it. Wanted to be there more than anything, and it opened so many doors for me. I'm getting all like proper amped up now. It's that get up juice you give me. It was everything to me. So that medal in my eyes is the only one that actually means anything. All the others are just whatever, don't care.
Why that one?
I thought about that. I've thought about winning that medal for years and years and years. Even back in my judo days, it's the only, a world medal, a Commonwealth medal, or European medal, or Olympic medal. It's them four, isn't it?
Yeah.
And wrestling's so difficult, mate. Wrestling is so difficult. People go, you go to Olympics. Do you understand? Do you understand what it takes? Did you know in wrestling they have half the amount of people that judo has?
Wow.
right? Do you know how difficult it is to be top 16 in the world? Or top 15 minus a wild card? Do you know how...
In judo?
In wrestling.
In wrestling, sorry.
In judo, you get 32, 36, something like that.
36 people that
People per weight class, and they have more weight classes. So they take away... how many weight classes is it? They take away 4. So you got 57, 65, 74, 86, 97, 125.
Yeah.
To be top 16 in the world at your weight class, do you know... Even the US didn't qualify someone in 65 kilos at Rio.
Wow.
So that just goes to show how insane that weight class is, and how insane just to qualify. Just to qualify.
It's not even pro.
It's not even pro.
Amateur.
And yeah, well, yeah.
But I'm saying amateur.
It's amateur
Yeah,
because
but-
we're all broke.
Yeah,
and
that's
some of
right.
these guys, and some of these elite guys from Mongolia ride to training on a horse. Right? They've got nothing but that Olympic medal.
Yeah.
That's the holy grail.
But I think
That's
the American
everything.
team, didn't they get... But that's if they
Mate,
win a...
have you heard about this?
Go on.
If they win the Olympic medal, they pay tax on it.
Who does?
On the actual medal.
If you win money, right?
Oh,
You win money.
The Olympics. Oh,
No.
the
So they're awarded money.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're an American, you win the Olympic medal.
Yeah, you get 20
right?
grand or something
You
like
get
that.
like,
Yeah, something
if
like
it's a gold, you get 100 grand, right?
Oh, 100.
Or something like that.
Okay, right.
Let's just say 100 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get taxed on it. For a lifetime commitment of sport, and you get taxed on it.
And then you got the Russians who buy your house
And
in a
then if you break
Mercedes.
that
Bro, that's
down,
the biggest piff in the world, bro, yeah?
if you break that down
that.
and you win 100 grand and they take 40% of that,
Wow.
and you pay and you get 60 grand, right? You break that down over the last 4 years, you're skint, mate.
Yeah.
You're broke.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking, isn't it?
But with the Americans, they have, look, what they have? They have sponsors. They have, like, does that make sense? They have guys in their what's it called? In their
When you're in college, you don't need anything.
Yeah.
You've got education. You get student loans. You get the club look after you. You know, it's not like here. We have to pay for everything, man.
Yeah.
We have to pay. Mate, I had to pay for my own singlets. I'm national team.
Unbelievable.
Ridiculous, mate. Yeah, no, it's. I love wrestling, though. I love it. Absolutely love it.
You know what you're looking like right now? You're looking
What?
absolutely mental right now, bro.
Yeah, I'm a nutter, mate.
And all wrestlers are like this, by the way. All wrestlers are like this. They complain about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
All of that, and then at the end, it's like, I still love this, bro.
Listen, there's nothing like wrestling, mate. There's nothing like wrestling, and it's the best sport in the world.
Do you love it more than judo?
Yes,
You do?
I do. 100%.
Why?
Because they ruined judo, and plus now I've been out of it, and I've seen the light,
Right.
which I see as wrestling.
Yeah.
Mate, wrestling's the best sport in the world. It's
How
the
have
best
they
sport in
ruined
the
judo?
world. They change the rules every year. It's like an annual rule change. It's ridiculous. Now you can't sneeze and you get like a penalty. Like, it's ridiculous, mate. They just ruin it. It's so
not
difficult.
fun to watch as well
no,
anymore.
no, and it's not spectator friendly, is it? So you need to really be in that world to understand what's going on. I suppose you need to a little bit in wrestling. Take them down, stick them on their back,
Yeah.
roll them over, finish. It's well easier to understand. You can do whatever you want. There's no, you can't hold this for this amount of time. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Because that's what judo's like now. You can't cross grip for more than 3 seconds. You can't hold someone's sleeve for too long. You can't do this. You can't do that.
Do you,
You just ruin it.
Why do they do it? Do you know what's
Because the Iranians started doing judo from wrestling.
Mate, there was an amazing. So when I was growing up, there was an amazing Iranian called Amir Eslami, right? And he actually failed weight on purpose to boycott his first match against Israel.
Oh yes.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Mate, do you know how good that guy was? That guy was Olympic gold medalist. He was going to be 100%. He's world champion before that. When I was growing up, I was like, he's meant. I want to be just like him. I was so like, when you're a kid, you're just like, I want to be like him. I want to be like him. I used to love it. But he was so good. But then that's when judo was sick.
Yeah.
That was like Athens Olympics.
Yeah.
It was mint. It was so
wicked.
good. And I used to watch that
It was wicked.
on repeat. I used to watch DVDs when I was a kid. That's what.
Who's that Greek one? Rich 70 amazing.
Iliadis.
Iliadis.
You know he's not Greek though.
Where is he?
He's Georgian.
Georgian, okay.
So But
There was him. There was who's the Japanese?
Zurab Vidari was.
Who's the Japanese one?
Georgian.
He
Which one?
busted his shoulder, so he started using the other arm.
Koga.
Goga.
Do you know the Algerian guy, the French Algerian bald guy?
Labi Bembadood.
That's it.
Do you know he was? Do you know I met him when I was a kid?
Did you?
And I was like, I used to watch him.
He's a
I used to
national
love
hero in
him.
Algeria.
Yeah.
bro.
Do you know how good he is though?
Yeah, he's so amazing. French
Mate,
national hero and Algerian national hero.
watch Labi Bembadood, right? Look at me, I'm getting a proper knowledge bombs out.
The nerd comes out.
100%. But him and people like that were my heroes growing up. And Labi Bembadood was tough as nails, mate. And I used to watch him so much. And I used to be like, I'll be just like that. And then I used to watch like people like Craig come along and smash him. And I used to be like,
Serious?
Craig's sick. Yeah. And then, yeah, like it's... People like that were big influence in my life as a kid. And that kind of... that I suppose judo's not the common sport for the kids, but when you see like... I don't know what it is. Like when you... I don't know what it is.
But I feel
It's
like
me.
judo's got their act together, bro. Like with regards to...
Sometimes.
From a wrestling point of view, in a sense of... Even from a martial arts point of view... if you look at... I mean, we're not talking about jiu-jitsu because jiu-jitsu is... it's not Olympic sport, you know, and...
There will be one day.
If
Yeah,
skateboarding
maybe.
is... I don't understand why Brazilian jiu-jitsu isn't. But anyway, I don't think...
Because it's all about that.
Okay.
It's all about money. They don't want to give up the money, mate. That's what it is. But judo's never been about money. Did you know when I grew up as a kid, I used to pay £2 a session as a kid. And still, the kids at the club that I teach, they're on something like that, £2 a session or something.
Wow,
like
in
that.
judo.
Yeah. We
Wow.
don't charge, mate. I never thought about money until I walked into a MMA gym. Ever. It was... Knowledge was passed from me to you
Yeah.
for free.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's not in books,
Yeah.
and it's important to give it back, to
Yeah.
put it back in. That's so important, so important.
Okay, now... I feel like... Remember This Is Your Life, bro? When the guy came out with the red book?
Yeah,
What's his name,
This Is Your Life.
Yeah, do you remember?
Yeah,
Like, so now you said you've changed lanes now. It's a different chapter now.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So what are you doing now, bro? I know you're coaching. Do you even train now? Do you?
I haven't trained since Spanish Grand Prix, 2019.
Yeah.
What do you mean? not
Early
train?
2000. I do not train.
Nothing.
Nothing. I don't go to the gym. I don't warm up. I wrestle with the boys for maybe like 10 minutes. Still out working me. Which the camera? Like that. Wet wipes.
What to stay in shape and stuff like
I don't have any shape. Mate, my shape is a donut. Listen, my mentality from being an athlete,
that?
that like I train till midnight at night and I get up early and I commit my life. That's just gone from that to learning a trade now. To carpentry. And I really enjoy it. I really love joinery. It's such a strange thing. You know, I've gone from this crazy life and chasing a dream and being so in it. Do you know what I mean? And now I've just kind of... I'm fortunate enough to again be consumed by something. And that is I think gives me purpose, and that stops me from being depressed. And you know, because
We need
again,
to put like a Japanese flute in the background right now, bro. You're like Karate Kid. And then just like filing down. What's this called?
Planing down.
Planing down.
filing down.
And
No,
topless, like looking at the sunset.
yeah.
Miyagi-san.
No, I think a lot of this comes from being skint, having no money, and it was such
Bro,
a
tell me
big.
you've got money now, bro, please.
Yeah, I've got some money.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
and I'm doing better, but I'm a
Good.
man on a mission. I'm
Yes.
trying to buy. You know, me and Kate. I'm trying to buy trying to get us in a position where I can buy a house.
Yeah.
Good.
I've been skint my whole life, and I'm trying to kind of make changes to that.
That's good to hear.
And
that,
I've got that mentality that if I have to work 6-7 days a week, it's well easier than training full time, I'll tell you that. All these people bitch and moan about working 5 days a week. You're like, pathetic.
It reminded me of I used to do deliveries, yeah, and like long time ago, I used to deliver to petrol stations, and every day I used to deliver, I see the same guy, bro. Same guy who's in the thing every day, bro. So I'm working every day, he's working every day. So I said to him, bro, you work every day? He goes, yeah. He goes, if there was 8 days, I'd work 8 days.
That's brilliant.
But obviously in his head, he's Sri Lankan guy, yeah?
He's a man on a mission.
He's probably got a mansion back in Sri Lanka, bro.
Yeah.
Like he's doing it for a reason. No one's gonna work that hard for no reason, bro. You need to have like that singular purpose.
My purpose now, my life now, is just trying to better my life. I don't want to be poor. And I've been poor for so long. Like, you know, you boys know, I sleep in my van outside the gym. Yeah. I would go to, I'd wait around all day. I got no money. I'm just kind of, it was just.
You're the white Ryu, bro. That's who you are.
What?
The white Ryu.
What's that?
Street Fighter.
Ryu is?
No.
Street Fighter. Oh my God, Street Fighter. Ken and Ryu. Oh no.
Street Fighter before.
Played Street Fighter.
You know Street Fighter,
Mate,
the game?
I was training. I wasn't playing.
Street Fighter. There's a character called Ryu, and what he does is
no, it's homework time. You're gonna go home.
Yeah, you got to play.
And you're gonna play Street Fighter. Because
the
coach said so.
So basically, he goes from town to town, and he wants to fight the best. That's his thing. He goes around the world and fights the. Do you know? So you lived like Ryu for the first however long. Of
well,
your life,
I never wanted for money.
How's your relationship with money now? In a sense, are you a saver? Do you find it difficult to save money?
I find it difficult to spend it.
Right.
Like, I know I want certain things, but I have anxiety that I would not have money. And I want to have nice things. I want to have nice clothes. Like I don't know. I think maybe it's just that I think there's lots of people like me that have kind of been through the same life as me, where we train full time for, you know, I've missed out on, 10, 11, 12 years of potential working years, and now I'm behind, so now I'm playing catch up.
But
so
you know the experiences you have, bro.
Yeah,
but I know
I tell you what, some experiences are brilliant because I got to go to 10 Downing Street. I went to Sports Personality of the Year. I rubbed shoulders of all these like really cool people, and that's brilliant. But when we leave, I got nothing. Do you know what I mean? So now, the mission is.
Go on, say it. Go on.
No, finish up.
The mission is to give. I want a nice house. I want somewhere for me and Kate to live and to start a family, and that to me is so important now, and I've missed out on that time, and it gives me so much anxiety. Do you know what I mean? Like, money is like it's a cruel thing. It's a terrible thing.
So it's absolutely amazing what Kane said there. I was about 18 and I was driving with my dad, and I said, Dad, look, I'm at med school now. I don't know, Dad, I want to get back into wrestling. I want to wrestle properly. And he was a little bit confused. He goes, what are you saying? I said, I want to stop medicine. So he stopped the car. He went, you're stupid. He goes, look, your father. He's living in obviously mum and dad divorced. When I was quite young. He still trained us and took care of us as much as he could. He goes, I'm living on the 13th floor, single bedroom flat. I'm working, cleaning to make some money. He goes, I have nothing. He goes, Yani, they say Jahannam to wrestling, to hell with wrestling. He goes, look at me. Who cares? All these medals, no one cares.
This is it. It's almost like when you're in the life, you don't care. I didn't care. I didn't care about having no money. I didn't care. I didn't look past the end of my nose. I was a man on a mission, possessed man. But tell you what, it did give me wrestling and judo, and that life gives me purpose. Yeah. Right, and that is what keeps you sane. If you don't have purpose, you get depressed.
Absolutely.
This is what I say, is that I'm lucky enough to have found something that consumed me. And made the years pass really fast. Do you know what I mean? If something consumes you and you love it, it's time well spent. But
and it's also like you can hand over. You can hand over now.
Yeah,
you can hand over.
Like I was saying earlier on, like it's not in books. The stuff that we know is not in books. And if it's not you and it's not me, there'd be a skipped generation, and then we just set back. And it's good. I didn't learn anything by myself. I was helped by somebody else. So now it's our job to push that forward, to pass it forward, to give it to the kids, to give it to the next group of people that want to go. And that's why I've started this club. I know I ain't got time for that. People must think that some of these gyms make loads of money. This little thingy that I've just started, it costs me money. Do you know what I mean? But it's about giving back. It's about pushing it and helping the kids or the young ones, or help pass the knowledge forward. But do you understand?
Just to kind of touch upon what you just said. If you feel that you've missed out on so much, why would you pass that on to someone else?
No, it's not so much that. I
know the answer. Do you understand? It's not that I'm not having a go, but I want people who are listening to understand, like, the mentality, your mentality. Why is it now that you feel like I need to pass this on to someone else?
Training full time, living that competitive life, living that life where it's full of struggle. It's full of adversity. It's full of tough times. It's full of, without trying to get away from it, I spent so many days just crying and being miserable, and or going hungry and missing family meals and all that sort of thing. And it's why do I want to pass it on? Because it gives you purpose. It helps you in your life. It makes everything a bit easier, But also, one thing for me is judo and wrestling was, I don't know if you guys feel the same, but if you have stresses on your mind and you go to training, as soon as that buzzer begins, where's your problem? It's gone.
Yeah.
Right? It's only at the end of the session when you pick up your phone or that session ends, it's like, brings you back to reality, but it also clears the air in your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It helps you. It's like a mirror, isn't it?
Yeah.
After that training session, when you look in that mirror, it doesn't have that steam on it.
It's not so foggy anymore.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like...
Yeah.
But brought so many...
What would you do differently?
What would I do differently?
Yeah, this is the thing. So you've got a guy who comes in. That's you. You see yourself.
I'm not... If I see myself...
So a guy tomorrow walks in, kid, 15 years old, or
let's say
12
10,
years old.
so we can actually...
Let's say 10. Okay, 10 years old, he's walked in, yeah? Or your son. You have a baby boy, yeah? And he's like, you see him, he starts walking, he's got that swagger, bruv.
What would I do?
Guide his life to make him... Or would you? Would you even want...
Yeah, I would, 100%. Listen, you don't... Like I said, I can work 7 days a week. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. The only thing that makes it difficult is that I have to share my time with Kate and the dog and life. And I can work 7 days a week. I've almost found myself in the pursuit of something. I'm pushing hard for something. I'm trying to grow. What would I do if I had a kid come in, or my
let's
child?
Talk about your child, bro.
Balance.
I think
balance.
How would you balance it out for him?
What's most important? Education. And my dad always said this to me as well. It's really important that if something goes wrong, you're one injury away from it being over.
Yeah.
All right.
Plan B.
God forbid you break your neck.
Yeah.
Which is probably not.
So happened to that jiu-jitsu guy, remember?
Yeah.
He got stuck in training, bro. He's paraplegic now, bro. Like that. Can you imagine? It's crazy, man.
Heartbreaking.
And he just got awarded his black belt, but again,
it's balance. Like you. I don't know. You killed me now.
Sorry, bro.
No, that's heartbreaking. But you're one injury away from it being a career ender, and I was so, in a way. Some people don't come back from injuries that I've had. Like some people don't. But I'm fortunate enough that I was resilient enough. It built me to be resilient, and it built me to be tough, And you know, there were a lot of teary days, a lot of days where I was really sad and things like that. But you know, it gave me so many tools to deal with life. One thing I am terrible with is like kind of sometimes dealing with my problems, but ignorance is bliss, and it helps me out a lot. But if I had a kid and balance, mate, balance.
Take
you need
time
to
off,
relax. Take some time off.
Let your body heal.
But listen,
let your body recover.
I don't know the answer, because sometimes if I say, listen, you're spending too much time doing this. If you say you want to be a world champion, or you say you want to make it in sport, say, I don't know, he wants to do boxing or something like that, right? Swimming, I don't care, whatever.
Yeah.
If he's spending that time doing something else when he could be getting better, one part of my mind goes, oi, you're wasting time. You're throwing it away. Hours you're giving away. And it irritates me, because I have people that come into the club and they say they want to do things, or I know lads that train in other things, or like other wrestlers. It's not. I'm proper getting away from it now. My brain's just kind of fried, but it's. They give too much time to other things and are too easy to pass the time away. Was in my eyes, that time is precious time all the time. Do you know what I mean? Boy, I don't know, but balance is so important.
I feel like you're kind of you've left that chapter. And me asking you that question, you going back into it is trying to it's still too close. Yeah, because I feel like
listen, I love it. Like, the only reason why I decided to walk away is because I know I needed a career, and I'm fed up of being skinned. Fed up of living at home with my parents. I'm lucky enough to have great parents, but it's difficult, and I don't know the right answer. But balance is so important. But also, again, back to my dad. He said that you need something other than sport.
You have to,
right? But what else makes you tick? For me, sat in a classroom learning sport or learning business was not for me. What I should have done is gone to college for carpentry alongside training full time. So then when I'm ready to step out, I've got it set and I'm ready. But being in that environment, in a university environment, it's not for someone like me.
No, it's not. No.
Also, you're kind of going up against killers who are well funded. If you said like people from America, well funded, got resources, they have a whole people behind them to support them, and you're there kind of, it's like a water pistol to a forest fire, isn't it? You're kind of like
100%.
If you squirt long enough, you might you might put it out.
But I did everything in my power. I did everything. There was no stone unturned. I did extras all the time. I did all I could. Didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve, and that eats me up. And stepping away from wrestling again, that was mega hard. Like that was. I remember sitting on the side of the mat. Like, I knew I could be in there with the guys. I wrestled up a weight at the Spanish Grand Prix. I just had surgery not long ago, so I'm not really sharp, really. And it ate me up. It ate me up so bad that it's time to step away. Time to focus on something else, because I'm not there anymore. Do you know what I mean? But that change of identity, that's so difficult, and people don't realise that when you walk away from sport, and you see it all too often. There's a lot of mental health problems. We were only talking about it earlier on. There's so many mental health problems. So that was my identity. Walking away from that, and then to go and find something else. It was really, really difficult, and I didn't know what to do. Do you know what I mean? There is no... Again, I needed someone behind me to just kind of give me a pat on the back and just be like, take your time, it's fine. And again, I didn't have balance. It was put all my eggs in one basket, absolutely went for it. It's difficult, But balance, if it was my kid, it would be balance. Find something you want to do.
Temper it. Just like know when to tell him to accelerate and know when to tell him to
that's it. Back. Sometimes you need the wise man on your shoulder, don't
someone
you?
Someone who's already been through it.
And someone who's been through it and said, maybe it's time you should start focusing a little bit of your attention on something else. Still train, still compete, still do what you're doing, or step out of work. You can be really good. Just sacrifice a couple of years, you know, and just go for it, you know.
So let's end on this, Kane, because I know you got a long way to travel back. Are you going back tonight?
Yeah, I'm going back tonight. Yeah.
So I want to talk a bit about the coaching, and I want to end on your carpentry, because I find that, but that's all I watch on YouTube sometimes. Guys just making things or refurbishing things.
Yeah.
Have you seen that guy who puts tree stumps on that thing that turns, and he makes all this? Probably haven't, bro. Probably too busy making things yourself.
Tree stumps.
He literally gets a
lathe.
Is that what
it's on a lathe, yeah. So it'd be spinning like that, and
and he'll just Oh, I love that.
Death machine.
Is it?
Death machine. Get your t-shirt wrapped up in that, you're gone, mate.
That's what
whatever you do.
Yeah,
mate, shirtless. You get splinters all up your chest.
So how are you finding coaching now, bro? That switch of gear. Do you find yourself disappointed a lot?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, funnily enough.
Because your gear was so high as a competitor.
I just feel like, and I think, you know, Kate always says to me, and my dad always says to me, it's kind of like, they're not you. So you can't, do you know what I mean? They're not you. You know, their limit is somewhere else, or they don't want it as much as you want it. But I don't see it like that. I don't see why you commit your time. No. That is how brutal. No.
He's ready to Cobra Kai.
He really
is, bro.
No, but
sweep the leg, Johnny. Sweep the leg, Johnny.
No, but listen. I say this to the guys, right? Listen. You say you want to wrestle, right? Or you say you want to do jiu-jitsu, yeah? You want to compete. You say you want to compete. Do it then, yeah? Don't say you want to compete and then turn up once every 7 weeks and then start harping on to me about how you want to do this, that. Like, shut up before I smash you. Like, it irritates me so much. One thing as well I always notice, right? We all come into training, yeah? You say you want to be world champion. You say you want to be world champion, or you want to win the British, or you want to win the British. You want to be this. You want to be that. Right? We train for 2 hours in the evening. Yeah. It's what you do in that 2 hours. It's not the fact that you've done 2 hours. Yeah. You can be training, right, and you sweating, and you think you're doing really good, and you look at this guy, and his work rate has doubled you. Yeah. Maybe I just don't understand it. Maybe I'm just a bit of a caveman, which I probably am, but I just don't get it. I don't know why you come in and tell me you want to do these things. Lots of people do it, and you've probably heard it so many times. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to compete. If you want to compete, in the hour and a half or 2 hours that you're here, do it. Or don't, because you'll waste your time.
And you're wasting my time.
Again, maybe I'm really harsh, and I probably just don't understand.
Ambition is to match the work rate, isn't it?
100%.
You can't
hold yourself accountable for the things you say. I want to be this. Do it then.
Do it.
Right? If you say, I'm here for just a couple of days a week, just want to have fun, want to learn wrestling, sweet. That's cool.
Recreational.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Then do it. That's
Agreed.
cool.
Agreed.
But I want to compete. Show me then. You're here. An hour is 4% of your day, right? An hour and a half, 6% of your day. 6% of your day. 3 times a week. It's nothing. It's nothing. So when you come in, just work. Get better.
Agreed.
And just... Maybe I'm just a psycho and I just don't understand.
I think you've been around Americans too long, bro.
No, I don't think so. But
most coaches are like this,
listen,
bro.
when I moved to go full time. Why did I commit my life? I didn't commit my life to take it easy. I didn't commit my life to just come along and we do a bit. Do you know what I mean? My parents paying hard-earned money to allow me to do that.
Right. So now this comes to this point. So you've heard what Kane has to say, right?
Ooh.
Can you see why we haven't gone to many tournaments?
Yeah.
But can you see why now? Because of 2 reasons. I'm not going to let someone compete who doesn't do that, because it's then going to reflect poorly on us. And the second thing is, I'm not going to drive to Manchester to watch you get beaten up, because I can do that on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's the problem we have. So this is why we haven't competed for so long. Because we've got a lot of good guys, good kids, coming on.
Yeah, some of the guys in the club tonight, they're all right. They're good. Yeah. They're good.
But they're not. They will not.
They're not that level because they don't compete.
No, they don't compete, and it is recreational. You come 2-3 times a week. It's just fun. Keep fit. A little bit of wrestling. Bless you.
Also the mentality, bro. Like
I keep saying to them.
Right? I'll probably just come back to the same thing, but I haven't trained in years. I still come on the mat and I can outwork some of the guys that want to compete and train. Yeah. And that, to me, in my eyes, is no good.
That's bad.
That's no good.
Really bad. Agreed. Agreed.
And I'm so past it. I'm no good anymore. So
you should have to whoop me.
Yeah, you should be throwing me all around.
Same thing here. Kane, same thing here. I'm past it. And even some of the guys are going hard, and I'm like, yeah, you're gonna get killed. You get absolutely mauled. And I think. So when I say to them, if you're not training twice a day, 6 days a week for 6 weeks for a tournament, I'm not interested.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're not going to commit the time before a tournament, why should I go with you to a tournament?
I'm gonna cancel shift in A&E. I'm gonna cancel urgent care. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the same.
I'll travel in with Kinsey. Let's go. We'll go compete. Let's do this. We have so much fun. Because I knew that he put the hours in. Well, actually, forget I knew it. I saw it with my own eyes. I would be there with him in the mornings and the evenings, and I thought, yeah, definitely, this is my student. Let's go together.
The pool, like you said, the pool of people who wrestle in the country.
I tell you what. Sorry to.
Yeah, go on.
GB has some good wrestlers. There are some really good guys. Trust me, there are.
Yeah.
But they're not exposing themselves to high level, so they don't really know where the benchmark is. And also, do they know how to train?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you really putting the time in? Are you really? They might, they're good wrestlers. They're really good. They can do this. They can do that. They win medals. Blah blah blah. But you need to be training like you're training for your last comp ever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think they do that. I think it's all.
I think there's a lot of quantity, but not as much quality as you'd wish. Like you wouldn't say this is what we're gonna do.
And also vanity, bro.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So they wanna. They're wrestlers.
Yeah.
Social media, mate. Social media, Instagram. They all love it.
Yeah. We've seen them. And they're all Ronins. They all believe that and this is a big danger with a lot of the wrestlers today, even athletes, but I find more than wrestlers. They're their own coach. They're Ronins. 100%. We have no master. We do what we want, and I'll take something special. I said, bro, this isn't pick and mix. You're not going to develop like that.
Of that dog with holding its own leash, that kind of.
Yeah. But it's really important that you
find a good coach. That
you offer yourself.
Yeah.
To a coach. Yeah, you have to let go of the reins and be like, take the reins.
Yeah.
Lead me. That's what that. To me, when I grew up, and just like yourself, you were my leader. Yeah, Jürgen was my leader. Right. I offered the reins. I let them go. Right. Listen. I trust your judgment. I trust his judgment. And I was like, just take me. Just push me in the right direction. Tell me what to do. I'm going. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there.
Also, do your due diligence before you do that, right? I'm sure you kind of came a few times, asked around, saw what's going on. You don't just give your reins to anyone. No. But when you do, you do.
You have to go and find the right place.
Find the right place, exactly.
It's just like I don't know. The same if you was to go away somewhere. Like I went to the States. Like Fresno was good, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah. But Cornell was you.
Cornell was like
definitely you.
Man, I was like, this is where I got to be. Like it's the great coaching, the great partners, the same attitude. I want to train. I want to be great.
Yeah.
I love that. Unfortunately, we just didn't, want in the same world. But
in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Born in New York somewhere.
No, I'm born in the mountains.
In somewhere. In Dagestan somewhere.
There was an Iranian Kane. Hello, Kane. Hello, brother. You okay?
Yeah.
I think we'll end it on there, man. Kane, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Coming.
Sorry
We've
for.
been trying to.
I proper went off on it, didn't I? No, it's good. I really appreciate it, and thanks for having me on, and
I appreciate that, man. I think your story needs to be heard, and I think a lot of young guys who are wrestling need to hear.
A lot of young guys, if you're wrestling, get after it. Stop Stop waiting. Stop being soft. Yeah. Or the same. Even if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, right? Don't go to training and just do a little bit. End yourself. Like, get after it, because you're only going to have this opportunity once in your life. Like, you only have a minute amount of time. Get after it and put the time in.
A lot of the guys from Legion watch this, so this is for them, man.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And that place built me, and that place built many other people. Do you know what I mean? Legion opened the doors for me, like I said, or like we said. I slept in the gym, that gym. Slept on the mat. Slept, outside in my van, freezing cold. Do you know what I mean? That place is a place that will build you if you allow it to. So, like, let the reins go and get after it and pursue the dreams. Don't just waste your time. Do you know what I mean?
Kane, you're a star, man. Diamond, Doctor.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for...
Proper went off on one. Yeah,
I think it's important. The story needs to be heard. I think it's very important. I think a lot of the times, young athletes, even my own kids, bro. My own kids, I'm gonna like them listening. I want them to hear this because they keep telling me I want to be Olympic champion. I'm like, okay. I want them to listen to this, and you guys, I know you're gonna be at home watching this. Listen to Kane's story, Uncle Kane.
Uncle Kane.
That's it. and I feel like
Uncle Mr. DeCane.
And I think when next time you go on the mat, have that mentality that you want to be the best on the mat, and I think that's very important, you know. And
that's it.
He's laid his whole body on the line, his life, everything. And I feel, honestly, I know you look back at it sometimes with a thing, but I feel like I'm
lucky.
Yes,
I'm lucky to have found something that consumed me. That's the way I see it, and that's how I'm able to.
And also, Kane, as a man,
although I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve, and far from, but I gave everything I had, and I'm lucky to have found something that consumed me. Do you know what I mean? That's it. Like, sport gave me purpose, kept me out from being a toe rag. It did, mate. Some of the people I went to school with, they're rough. But it kept me on the straight and narrow. It gave me something to pursue. It consumed me. It gave me purpose.
Amazing.
That's what sport is all about, really, isn't it?
That's it. And guys, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and we'll see you on the next one.